Go time is go.
Red. Okay, we're going. You're floating. There's the announcements channel. Tap, tap, left now. Let me actually refresh so I see all the stuff. Hello, chat. How are you doing? Lucky be floating. Ugh. Okay. Hello.
Sorry about that. As soon as I hit the go live button, someone knocked at my door, and I'm just like, really?
It happens. Let me take a sip of ice cool water. It's hot. It's hot in here right now. My computer has given me 81 degrees, and the weather outside is haze, so it's warm. But, okay. We're here. The show's going. All the buttons are on.
Mm-hmm.
I have cooled off, and I would like to remind everybody, this episode is brought to our patrons real quick. Like, Adam Hart, Lucas G, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Philly Iceberg, Jeremy Vasquez, Just the Fate, John Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Ro Robin, Trevor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob 723, and Varian the Crow. If you like what we do, want us to do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. Get access to episodes early and more. It's cool.
It's sick.
And so we're here.
We are here.
It's going to be, well, first of all, we're early.
Yes. About an hour earlier than our usual time.
Yep. We're ready to be up and at 'em today.
Well, the way I see it, it's early in, early out.
True.
Like I said, I'm probably going to be getting some of it on stream here, but I probably will be screaming in PvP in Final Fantasy, probably doing some crystalline content later, because I'm trying to get my goddamn ranks up in there.
Yep.
I swear, this is like one of the most evil things Final Fantasy 14 does. Like, hey, let's give you cool stick, but lock it behind PvP.
Yeah, it's certainly a thing. So, I mean, we might as well just start there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's in the thumbnail. And I have also been actually off-stream playing PvP in Crystalline Conflict. I have done a Final Fantasy of my own free will off-stream time. Alone, mostly. And honestly, while I don't mind playing CC that way, it does kind of sadden me that, like... All right, so normally, you know, MMOs, right, they're built on these big community aspects. You know, you're supposed to be able to, like, talk and people and all. And the PvP modes even have, like, special hotbar shortcut things to say to people. Like you're playing a you know, an actual MOBA or something. You can push the hello button and stuff like that. But you can't, like, grab a party of 5, lock in, and then load in to Crystalline Conflict with 5 of your friends and just be the team, right?
Right.
It doesn't work. Which kind of feels like a missed opportunity. I mean, I feel like they're trying to balance things out a little anyway, because obviously, I think you only have to be like level 30 to start PvP, right?
Yes.
So you're gonna, you don't see the Sprout notification in PvP. So you're gonna get people who are, you know, yeah, I keep hearing the stop the win trading, but I don't, people keep saying that. I don't understand what that means in this context. I'm just saying 5 of you party up and you're just the team. So you can, like, be all on the same team and then could coordinate off mic. Obviously, you know, if you're randomized, you could coordinate with other people, but it's the way you queue up for PvP is just in the Duty Finder anyway. Why couldn't you take a party of, you know, 4 of your friends, 5 of your friends, and just be a side, you know? Obviously, I get that that would probably mean to, like, slot in, you know, easier. That there'd be some advantage there, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like, honestly, the Crystalline Conflict, which is the only mode I've actually tried because it's shorter. Sometimes I might have to, like, poke, you know, whatchamacallit,
Frontline?
Frontlines and the other one. But, like the way CC is designed, they're supposed to be like lightning quick matches. There's not really a lot of futzing around you can do there. So like, okay, cool. You know, you're a 5-man squad. You've got better coordination. You can just get in there and go. Okay. I mean, the difference between winning and losing for terms of season EXP is 200 points, which is something I would like to, considering that technically PvP is like an offshoot of content, right? It's a special thing they do. They have to like reorganize, you know, your move sets. Every class has a PvP specific move set. You have to set up in a unique hotbar you can only access in certain areas. That's not a big fan of that one. A lot of growing pains early on where I kept having to teleport back to the Wolf's Den because I was like, all right, this hotbar is fine. No, it's not. I guess you can, you know, there's the like 1v1 practice arena you could do, but that I feel like that would be very awkward to just grab people for practice matches. That's another thing I maybe could have done with friends. But yeah, there was a lot of like loading into the duty finder and going through and then being like, oh, nope, this, when I do this hotbar configuration, I just accidentally heal myself constantly. Don't want to do that. Move those buttons around. I still do that sometimes. But yeah, even so, the way they're designed, it's fast. And sometimes there's not a lot you can do about it being fast. Like, if the other team just gets momentum, it's over. And I've had a couple of longer overtimes. Like you've complained before on multiple streams about sometimes you've gotten locked in some overtimes that last a while.
Yes.
I haven't gotten any that's been really long. There have been a couple that like have gone for, you know, maybe an extra minute, but you know, generally it's fast, and once it's over, you know it's over, and we just all go home. Some people go home so fast that they don't even get player comms. I think as a result, my player commendation number has significantly increased since I've been doing CC, because on console, you know, it's not like I can just drag my cursor over to the button, so I'm usually the last one out.
Mm-hmm.
So people do occasionally remember to throw comms. Some people just fucking leave. They're gone. Match over, we're out. But
well, they got to queue up again. They gotta go fast.
yeah, I know. They got to go back. It's the speed. It is the speed strategy, which I have myself been enjoying. But yesterday, now live for everybody, we got a question in FGO mailbag about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. In comparison to how Master Duel runs, I'm actually much happier about how 14 handles its PvP. Like, considering that that's 5v5 for Crystalline Conflict and is, you know, a lot more fiddlier. And obviously, you know, yeah, 14 is not necessarily free to play. I don't think you can go to PvP arenas in the trial version, so
no.
you have to have a paid, you know, license and sub. But like, I haven't experienced any weird servers or interface problems with people. When you get pulled from PvP, you get people from all kinds of servers. You know, I'm seeing all kinds of names in there, not just our own native Ultros, but, you know, Excaliburs, Famfrits, etc. People from all over.
Yeah, everyone from our data center.
Yeah. So, you know, they make sure to I'm assuming this is probably why they don't let you block in a party, but they do try to, like, mix it up from people all over so you don't feel like there's, like, any negativity. You know, one moment you'll be against a great team and you'll be like, oh, son of a bitch. By the way, because you get to see, like, 9 other player plates, you get to see all the best names in PvP. I've seen Maple Sugar, leaves up toilet seat, 2 words. Coconut Milk Tea. Coconut Milk was 1 word, tea was their last name. Shit like that. So, you know, one moment you'll be going against, you know, one guy and you'll be, that's, you know, that son of a bitch, you know, Charlie Dunks a lot. He killed me 5 times. And then you queue in again, and what do you know? Charlie Dunks a lot's on your team, and you're like, okay, cool. We got this, you know? So I assume that's probably why, but it does kind of feel like a missed opportunity for, like, if nothing else, you know, maybe there could be an extra casual game mode where you can play with friends easier. I don't know. Because, like, I feel like the team coordination aspect is something they're missing a little of, but it goes by pretty fast, and everything seems to, like, flow fast. You're in, you're out. I don't really have any complaints about, like, you know, I don't really feel like teams, sandbag or stall or anything. Usually when the game is over, it's over. Sometimes there's a little bit of overtime as you do in these kinds of games, but it flows together pretty well. Generally, I believe Crystalline Conflict is the preferred PvP mode for just quick grinding.
Oh, yeah. It's usually good to get in one front line a day just because you can literally get an XP bonus off of it. Because it is in your duty finder, but no. I think God, how much did I make? I think we got third today. You do get more in front lines than in Crystalline Conflict, but those matches take anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's
it's one of those things where just going next gets you more XP in the long term.
Also, those have 72 players, and you are not locked to pre-generated messages, so you get a lot of salty people.
Yep. Generally, I feel like my comrades in Crystalline Conflict are pretty on point. I've noticed a couple of rituals. Sometimes people will just in the box start chugging elixirs. I don't know why, but that's a thing we all do apparently. We all get fucking smashed before the game starts.
Yep.
But some people will throw out some hellos. I don't feel like anybody's ever harassed me because I'm on console and I cannot afford the hotbar slots to have hellos. I would have to build a second hotbar just for interactions, and I'm just like, no, that means there's another button I can press that I can fuck this up. Let's see. You've played some PvP and yelled at it on stream before, and will probably play again and yell.
Yes.
There are a lot of memes I think in our team that I agree. I now understand. Fighting ninjas sucks.
Yep.
They will turn invisible and then do a shitload of damage on your ass, so there's not a lot you can do about it. Other than specifically being assassinated, I haven't really noticed a lot. I should actually double check that I've got for PvP modes, I've got minimal flash. Even so, when you got 5 players get all focused on you, there's still a lot of lights and stuns and shit.
Oh yeah.
So it gets a little hard for me to tell what exactly is fucking me. I'm just like, well, everybody hit their button on me. Which personally, I don't know. I'm maining Dragoon in PvP. I've tried some of my other classes because obviously you can get EXP back that way.
Mm-hmm.
I did actually go from 30 to 31 on Machinist just doing PvP runs, but I don't know. Just for my personal preference, I feel a little not as tight on the other kits I've tried. Red Mage is pretty flexible, but I feel like there's one too many buttons for my comfortable muscle memory on my hotbar to actually be doing all the things all the time. Because you've got your melee combo, but then you can also do magic, but you could do barrier. But when you're in Black Shift, you don't do barrier, you do a debuff instead. So you gotta remember to switch back and forth. And I'm like, okay, that's too much thought. Maybe for front lines or some bigger matches where I might have a moment to plan, but Crystalline Conflict really is just that in-your-face slamma-jamma sometimes. So yeah, I just push buttons.
Oh,
and
why do you hurt me like
this?
That? Oh, no, someone posted in game this anime girl saying, huh? No, retro consoles are like the N64 and GameCube, right? The PS3 and 3DS are still pretty new. I'm just like,
oof. I can't believe you've done this. It's painful.
That is painful.
I do have some notes about some retro.
What is retro is anywhere from honestly, I think, what is retro? Does retro have it defined? I don't know.
Yeah, I should Google it. Retro, imitative of style from the recent past.
Recent past.
Retro backwards is right behind, relating to styles of the recent past. Fashionably nostalgic. Let's check Wiktionary. English from borrowed from the French retro, from the Latin retro. active? No. All right, so Wikipedia on retro style. In popular culture, the nostalgia cycle is typically the 2 decades that begin 20/30 years ago.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's what I always figured. I thought retro was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago still puts us in the fucking PS2 era.
It's true. But yeah, the generally accepted nostalgia pendulum is the 30 to 20 years marks, because that is about how long it takes for something to be the media of your childhood, and then for you to grow up and be usually a fully realized adult who can, like, have money and buy stuff and push trends and create your own shit, etc., etc. But yeah, so technically I do not think the PS3 era is what is considered retro, but it is definitely older than some people think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so...
Yeah, and we're still a few years out from the 20 years on the PS3. It's coming close, but initial release was 2006, so...
Oh, right on the edge there. Sorry for that slight tangent, but PvP is, to me, it's always a crapshoot. Like, I won't say that I am horrible at PvP. Like, usually I have fairly low deaths, a high amount of assists, and usually, like, you know, between like 1 to 5 kills. There's many a match where I go without getting killed at all, especially in frontline. In frontline, I am quite content just to sit back and blow things up with Bahamut. That is the summoner eliminate break, by the way. You just summon Bahamut, who just becomes a turret for a while and shoots people angrily. Or Phoenix.
Pretty good. It's pretty solid. Yeah, and that's definitely, I think that's where, I mean, I can check my actual record sometime later. But that's usually about where I am. Like, obviously, there were some growing pains in the first couple of matches as I'm, like, figuring out my hotbar and what to do and the strategies and shit. Like, obviously, like any other game, sometimes you go on tears. I've had, you know, really good ones. Like, I scored 737 the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That's 7 kills, 3 deaths, 7 assists in that order. Which I'm like, that's funny. That was a really good match. Then there are other days, you know, or matches, I should say, where you just don't got it and you've died like 4 times and you come to the end and you realize, well, I didn't get any kills, got some assists, but I died. Usually that's probably a sign you're going to lose. Sometimes you can win from that position. Like, honestly, I mean, if you're trying to power through it's one of those weird psychology things, right? If you're trying to just power through the season pass bar, which is basically what it is, the PvP season rank. I think it's called series rank, actually, but, you know, the series EXP is just, it's a season pass. It's a battle pass type shit. You've got, you know, so many levels and so many nodes. You don't have to actually pay for the pass separately, but you do have to pay to play this game ongoing for several months, so it kind of works out, right?
Right.
And there's, you know, various rewards and stuff. There's some funny things. One of the season's rewards is the Link Pearl emote. It's very early. That'll be funny to bust out later. There's mounts, there's armors and stuff. There's also a boatload of currency, which you can exchange for various things. But technically, if you're just trying to get it done, all you care about is that the match ends.
Yeah.
Which means, obviously, you could sandbag, but you do get a little bit more EXP if you win, so generally I feel like trying is encouraged. I've seen a couple of people who I think are, like, trying to signal that they're basically giving up when we're, like, getting our shit pushed in, and they're standing close to the spawn and, like, sending out the message, you know, good match already, even though we got, like, a minute left. Those people are probably indicating that they're no longer giving it their all.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, you try and fight it out, you know? And I don't necessarily know, like, obviously, there are achievements for getting kills and assists. You know, you get one your first time, you get one at higher levels, because I haven't earned, like, later ones for, like, assists or kills yet, but I see people get them, so... You know, there's reasons to participate. I don't know if it affects your, like, EXP counts or whatever, but, you know, if you're trying to get player comms and shit, you know, you want to do good.
Yeah.
Usually, I try and use my one commendation on whichever one of my teammates is highest on the board, or who I saw doing the most shit. Sometimes those people are fucking gone though, so then I usually pick whoever has the funniest name.
Oh, actually, Maggie, here's something fun for you to say. You were wondering about Alexander earlier. If you look on my screen right now, you can just see where he's chilling.
Oh, hold on, let me make sure I am. Yeah, I'm lagging behind a little.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, there he is. Minding his own business.
Mm-hmm. Just living his best
That'll be-
life.
Yeah. For now. That'll be fun later. Man, summons are cool. Final Fantasy, it's cool. Final Fantasy 14, it's real cool. God, makes me wonder what the fuck Alexander's gonna look like in the remake. 7 remake when they get there. There's a lot of summons in 7. We've had this conversation before.
I'm wondering if they're gonna have an Alexander in 16.
If they do, that'll probably be late.
Well,
Obviously, you know, what they're doing with 16, tying the icons, the summons to major characters, probably limits the total number of summons. Like, I think we're actually going to see overhead a fewer number of summons in 16 than in some other games, because they're going to be like a whole thing. But they're probably keeping a couple close to their belt for later in the game, right?
yeah.
I think we've talked about this. Have we seen Bahamut at all?
No, I do believe, though, that PAX had their 16 panel today, and they did show off some more videos. And I do believe there was an icon fight with, like, a dark-type kind of enemy, ghostly-looking motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be
that'd be
another
pretty
one,
cool.
but I don't know exactly who that may be, though.
Oh, there's lots they could choose from as
Yeah.
well. There's all kinds of stuff. I was just thinking, you know, because actually this is semi-relevant because at that panel, the 14 panel, I think technically actually yesterday, among many other things Yoshi P said, he did say that he's in addition to the serious but also ongoing joke about collabing with 16, he has explicitly said he is interested in doing something between 14 and 7 remake, but that right now they can't coordinate that because those guys are in, you know, heavy duty dev time. Maybe once they've actually like settled some stuff out, we might get some more direct crossover, which is interesting. I really would want to see how 14 would take that because honestly, they've done half the shit in 7 is just part of the you know, the Final Fantasy ethos anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of little things, like 14 has materia, not as like a plot point so far, but as a thing. You have Chocobo Racing, you have the Gold Saucer, which is obviously, you know, a 7 reference. The weapons are in a later expansion as, you know, other than Ultimate Weapon, who's in the base game, but looks, while fairly similar to most of his designs, still does look in line with the design he has in 7. So, like, there's some later stuff. And I'm kind of like, obviously, I'm interested in how 7 Remake is going to handle the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I don't think we have to worry about that with Rebirth. They're probably going to save all of that for whatever the third game will be called, which I'm sure will give them opportunities for fucking baller boss fights. Though this does remind me, I was looking up something else. I don't know if this would necessarily be a 7 Remake collab moment, but I feel like 14 does occasionally do some deep cuts. There are actually, from the Before Crisis phone game, there is an extra weapon, Jade Weapon. So I don't know if they referenced that in 14 yet, but I bet they didn't, because that's very obscure. But also, the final boss of that phone game is, I think it's pronounced Zirconade. It might be Zirconade, but that's a summon. The ultimate boss man, Zirconade. So that could be if Yoshi P wants to dig into the deep dive, there's a couple extra bosses there. That could be a primal.
Well,
Though I will say, I could pull him up. Funnily enough, I think Zirconade's design actually looks a little bit like Ravana. Let's see. No. No, I am not spelling this guy's name correctly. Zirconade. Oh, the Japanese pronunciation is Jirukonido. Actually, no, he's not that close to Ravana. He's more legs than arms.
I'm sorry, I'm watching Namazu shenanigans right now.
Yeah, well, I see. You're doing your beast traps. I have heard much about the Namazu being the shenanigans.
Oh no!
Don't listen to chat. Well, hope that was important. Sorry, I just saw the dramatic four-way split screen and then you just being like, nah.
God damn it.
Wow. These guys are fast if you apply a little fire.
Red makes you go fast.
Oh, does that one work? That should be a direct link. Oh, no, it does not work. That's really weird. How do fandom wikis work?
Oh, we're going Wicker Man? What the fuck?
Let's retract the old one and try that one. I don't have any context for this. I'm just wondering who gave these motherfuckers a book.
I don't know, but I wanted to mention earlier when you're talking about J-Whip and all that stuff, we still got 2 more games to go, and they do seem to be wanting to pull in content from all games, so who knows, Jade Meppin and however you pronounce the fucking name.
Jirukanade.
Drukanade. You know, like, might just show up in-game anyway, in the trilogy anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure because those are, like, from the prequel phone games, but technically, I guess that, like, the Zirconade guy could come back because he's, like, in an ultimate material.
And we say that, but, you know, a society that doesn't show up until the fucking afterward, whatever fucking, that, deep,
Well, yeah, Deep Ground was revealed in Dirge, but
yeah.
Timeline-wise, they would still have existed.
And characters from a fucking light novel showed up in game as well.
Yeah, no, they've borrowed everything.
So,
it's just that Zirconade is like the last boss of Before Crisis, so I don't know if he's supposed to come back. But the continuity is very wiggly right now. Let's just put it like that. They could bring it back for some extra fights. There's still like... Okay, sorry, I have to do math.
Brain, activate.
There's 6 weapons in the original game, technically.
Ultimate.
And part of that's a retcon. There's 5 main ones.
Yeah.
There's Sapphire, who dies like a bitch to the Junon cannon.
Yep.
Diamond, those are mandatory. Ultima Weapon, Ruby, and Emerald. So that's 5. And then, talking of Dirge of Cerberus, technically, Vincent's Ultimate Limit Break, Chaos, was retconned to be kind of a weapon. It's part of the Omega Weapon, which is the ultimate plot coupon of Dirge. And then Jade Weapon is from the prequel phone game. I think that's all the weapons. But considering that already 4 out of those 5 are boss fights anyway, I'm almost sure they will somehow find a way to turn Sapphire into a boss fight. Like, I mean, that kind of does make me curious, because technically, I think that my personal opinion, and I don't, we'll see exactly how they decide to pace out Rebirth. I assume that will probably, we'll probably start seeing press for that after 16 drops.
Yeah.
We'll come back with some more trailers and stuff, because that's still allegedly winter this year. I still don't know for sure, because they've been kind of heads down, and I do kind of feel like Square usually does a decent job of, like, spacing out their press for their big releases. Like, they do have a lot of little releases that could kind of make you, you know, overwhelmed. But a lot of their big tentpole stuff, they spread out, you know. They went really, really ham on, you know, Forspoken ads for a while, and then Forspoken came out, and they're like, okay, Final Fantasy 16 time. Obviously, 16 was getting some stuff interspersed in there, but they're on a big 16 presser push right now. But yeah, I, having been watching somebody go back and playing the original 7 and playing a little bit of the PS4 port myself, which, by the way, that's very funny because it works thematically, but, like, holy shit, did they really stretch out Midgar. I think I played, like, 4-ish hours of the PS4 version. I'm already at Shinra Tower.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm you know, a decent chunk of the way out of Midgar. But it worked for, like, you know, pacing and characterization and stuff. I feel like Rebirth will probably pick up speed in that respect.
Yeah.
But so if people don't remember, and the game is like 25 years old, so and everybody knows this, so I'm not going to count it as a spoiler, but if people want to remember where disc 1 ends in the original Final Fantasy VII is not at the North Crater, it's immediately after Aerith dies in the City of the Ancients, in the Forgotten City. Like, not even you leave the Forgotten City. I assume it's because there's a lot of cutscenes involved in that moment, and that's where the disc space is, so they had to switch. Because there's also a shitload of cutscenes when you get to the North Crater. I personally do not think that is where Rebirth will end. One, I don't want to go into the details of how and why for people who are not caught up on Remake or you know, maybe waiting for some more to get in there, though you really should, because it's a great run and you can access it lots of ways now. It's on Steam and shit. I am not 100% convinced that Aerith will die at the Forgotten Capital. Like, it's the most well-known shenanigansing in video games. Like, it's one of the big ones. It's you know, it's video games equivalent of Snape kills Dumbledore or Darth Vader is Luke's father, right? It's Aerith dies.
Yeah.
It's been memed to hell, which is very funny because the stream series I've been watching, I've mentioned it in a couple of other places. The person doing this is doing, you know, basically blind. It's their first time. She has been talking on and on about, like, how much more other bullshit there is in Final Fantasy VII way after that moment.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of crazy shit in 7, which, you know, makes me more hyped for the remakes. But I'm not entirely convinced they're going to play that one straight.
I don't know. Oh, sorry, go.
Go ahead.
No, it's like Aerith dying is always a big thing, but one of the things that always stuck with me a long time is how just for a little while, Cloud's just an invalid in a wheelchair. Just there, like, after he gets dunked into the live stream, I'm just like, God fucking damn. No one ever wants to think about that, but that's...
And then to fix him, you get sucked back into the live stream and go into what I am now adopting the name for, the trauma dimension.
Yeah.
Because you got to unpack his shit. No, nobody ever talks about that. Nobody talks about how fucked up the North Crater is the first time when you, like, Aerith has died and you're trying to stop Sephiroth and get back the black materia, but you don't know what the fuck is happening. There's, you know, multiple weapon attacks on towns that are really crazy. It's pretty unceremonious, but when you return to Midgar in 7, right before you switch to Disc 3, because plot-wise, Disc 3 is just North Crater, Northern Cave. It's just you have a lot of optional stuff unlocked then. But you have a boss fight with Heidegger and Scarlet in their giant robot, and then they just die. Their robot explodes, and they're gone from the plot. And the script doesn't really comment on this, probably because they made the original Final Fantasy VII in about a year. A lot of people probably don't remember this, but Ruby and Emerald Weapon were not in the original Japanese release. They were only added in the international release because they had extra dev time. So, something that doesn't happen anymore because usually language releases are simultaneous. Sometimes there's a little bit of delay for some of the more double or single A games with really big scripts, but usually for AAA, it's pretty simultaneous. And we've talked about before how some games now are even going so far as to developing their English scripts first. It's just adding the pod.
I like riding my pod.
But yeah, it's pretty funny. I did remember to go back to the achievement man because I had some achievement points, and I now have unlocked the hand.
That's a good one.
So everybody get ready for that to just come out randomly in my Mount Roulette. It'll be very funny. But yeah, like, there's a lot of stuff they expanded there, so much stuff happens in Disc 2. It's very dense. I don't think that obviously that Rebirth will cover all of that. What Rebirth will probably be is all of the rest of Disc 1 with extra expanded content and several of the stories that were technically optional being mandatory, right?
Right.
Like, it's so funny. Vincent is so tied into the plot, Vincent Valentine, but he's completely optional, and you can't access some plot cues without him. There's a fucking plot cave with Lucrezia, right?
Yeah.
That literally doesn't do anything if you don't have Vincent in your party, and he is optional behind a puzzle and a pretty hard boss for when you first go to Nibelheim. So, like, all that shit's going to be mandatory. Yuffie, obviously, they're really playing up her character with the special DLC, so she will be mandatory as well. I don't actually know if they will do the Wutai subplot in Rebirth. Technically, you can access that in Disc 2, but it's a major plot diversion.
I still think it's going to be DLC.
Yeah, I could see that as basically their next bridge content. Though I think the Wutai setting will probably appear in some form in the mainline games, to get access to some of Yuffie's stuff. But yeah, it is technically like completely side content, and where it exists in the game is, in case people have forgotten, is after you go to Rocket Town, kind of for no reason. This will almost assuredly be expanded in the remake games. You jump on the tiny Bronco and fly away, and it gets turned into a boat.
I think you need to. I think you go there because you need someone with a plane for some odd reason, but I can't remember why. I think it's because you're literally just trying to get to North Crater or the temple or something, and you hear about it.
Yeah, it'll be a lot cleaner in the remake. Basically, what happens is you go to New Fake Nibelheim, you go through Mount Nibel, you come out the side because somebody in Nibelheim is like... Actually, no, I think you run into Sephiroth in the basement again, and he throws a materia at you. Almost assuredly, that was supposed to be another Drenova boss fight they cut, but he throws a piece of materia at you instead. It's very funny. And he tells you that he's going over the mountain, so you follow him over the mountain, and on the other side of the mountain is Rocket Town, and you're just like, hey, did Sephiroth come through here? You meet Sid, you ask about the giant rocket for no reason, and then later, all of the Shinra execs show up in town, and Rufus is like, hello, Sid, I, Rufus Shinra, the president of the entire Shinra Electric Power Company, need your plane specifically, because we heard Sephiroth is going to the Temple of the Ancients, and we need a ride. Never mind, I own 9 billion helicopters.
I was about to say, I was
like,
wait a minute.
Airship. I do think the game does actually, if I remember the script right, does actually ask about, like, I think Sid even says, motherfucker, don't you have the high wind airship? And Rufus is like, it's in maintenance right now. Ugh. Stroke my hair. So yeah, like, Rocket Town's really weird in the original. It's mostly just a vehicle to introduce Sid and, like, set up for later plot points. But yeah, you get in the tiny Bronco, and you can access Wutai there. And if you have Yuffie in your party when you get the tiny Bronco, she's like, oh, hey, we should go to Wutai for no reason, so she can steal your materia. That will almost assuredly be dropped. If Yuffie steals all your material, it will be for some other reason than just, meow, she wants your materia, because that's really not how they're setting up her character in the Yuffie DLC. Oh, I remember because I was talking about Rufus. Well, I was trying to remember how many weapons there were. I ended up going down that wiki hole I mentioned earlier about Jade Weapon. And I learned that apparently, hey, kids, did you know, phone game only facts in Before Crisis, you know who the primary funder of Avalanche used to be? Rufus fucking Shinra. He bankrolled Avalanche to get rid of his dad.
I was about to say, as soon as you said it was him, it was all like, this was a plot to overthrow his father.
Yes. And I don't know if it worked. I think the implication is that the reason why you don't see Rufus until after President Shinra dies is he's been, like, sent away to go do VP things because he was leveraging being close to President Shinra to give Avalanche information. But, like, I'm like, well, holy shit. That needs to come back in the remakes. Like, what would Barrett think if he realized that his thing, even though he's from a splinter group, was, you know, basically co-founded by this guy? Also, the original leader of Avalanche was the amnesiac daughter of the former head of the Turks. It's really weird. Before Crisis sounds weird. I think Ever Crisis is probably not going to happen like they were originally planning, the version where they have like the little like phone version of all the compilation stories. But I really do hope that Square figures out a way to bring Before Crisis over here in some manner, because once again, it's another compilation of 7 stories. There's a lot of fucking weird shit. Crazy stuff happens. But yeah, like, that's just a fact that I was like, damn, that's a deep cut. We got to bring this up.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me excited for remakes. But I got over this. Sorry, like I said, I'm real Final Fantasy VII brain right now.
Big brain.
So I've been thinking about this a lot, but my main thought is Rebirth will probably be, like I said, all of the Disc 1 content, and I assume up to the North Crater, because that will be, you know, the big moment. Cloud freaks out, Sephiroth summons Meteor, etc., etc. That's where the original, you know, Disc 1 to 2 break is, and then we were talking about this earlier. What happens when you start Disc 2 is that's when Tifa and Barrett are captured in Junon and are set up to be, you know, publicly executed. That sounds to me like, much like I'm sure they're going to use the Calm flashback as a reason to, like, reteach you the game and stuff. Having your party members all scattered because you got captured by Shinra and, you know, being in captivity, that sounds like a really good excuse to, like, reset all your materia and levels, at least temporarily, to, like, reteach you the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that seems like that would be a good point to do the setup, and then that immediately leads into, like, okay, well, we got to get all the squad back. Where the fuck is Cloud? I could actually see them doing Wu-Tai there, for instance, as like, all right, where the fuck did Yuffie go? Well, she ran back to Wu-Tai, so we got to go get her. You know, stuff like that. And then whatever the third game is probably going to focus on the weapons and the huge materia, just like Disc 2 does. But I say that I don't know if Aerith is going to, first of all, don't know if Aerith's going to die, period. But if she does, I don't think she's going to do it in the Forgotten City, because people have really, really, like, gotten in the guts of Final Fantasy VII, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people know that in the script, there are lines for Aerith that are coded after the Forgotten City. Like, which makes perfect sense, because I don't know if people remember this, but the next town you go to, Icicle Village, that's where Aerith was born. You know, her parents were living there when they got recaptured by Shinra. So, like, there's a lot of, like, Aerith backstory dump on you right after she dies, which feels a little weird. Also, that is where the snowboarding minigame is, which is also very weird, tonally. I'm sure snowboarding will be in this remake trilogy somewhere, but I don't know if it'll be like, oh shit, we just killed Aerith, better go snowboard my feelings away.
I wonder if it was supposed to be like a choice or something, or maybe you could, like, due to your actions, like, maybe, like, who would die would change. You know, like how the date in Gold Saucer works.
Yeah, I would assume it was probably like, either they were just planning on it happening at a later point in the script and then just realizing that that moment didn't exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it may have been supposed to be like a point-based thing. And honestly, there's a lot of moments in the script, some of which could just be to the fact that the localizers were under hella time crunch. They had to do all of this in like 6 months, I think, with just, you know, a single spreadsheet, no context, right? But there are a lot of, like, moments and hints later that make it sound like you could have saved Aerith or could get her back. Like, obviously some of that is just like, oh man, it feels like she's still right here. You know, it's supposed to be like metaphorical, but there's a lot of weird moments and stuff talking about like, you know, prayers to the life stream, key of the ancients and shit. For plot purposes, like I said, I'm pretty sure, assuming that we're doing like Nomura and Kitase have said, and we're still mostly going to follow the plot beats, I'm pretty sure that technically Aerith has to be dead, or at least in the live stream, for Holy to work. I again, if that's how I understood the original script, right?
I personally, I think the way we're gonna do it is we're still going to quote unquote lose her, but she won't die. She's gonna well, fuck, I don't think you would understand this, so I'm loath to say it. But, she's basically gonna get spirited away, I think. Like, I don't think she's necessarily gonna get stabbed in the stomach, but I think she still is going to dip.
Yes. Because technically that's, she starts that plot point by dipping from the party anyway. Yeah. Like, I have to go do something by myself. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So, yeah, I don't know if we'll, like, unpack that sooner, because, like, the reason why she went off on her own isn't revealed until way later. Like a lot of things in 7. So, yeah, my personal assumption is that she is just going to stay out of the party, like, at some point. Whether that means she's dead, or just she has to stay out of the party for continuity reasons, whatever. But I assume that they would probably are not going to make that permanent until now after the Icicle Inn village, because, again, that's, like, there's a lot of backstory stuff for her there that's, like, really unresolved in the game, probably because they originally wrote that segment with the idea that she would be in your party, because she has dialogue for when you do the cliff climbing minigame right after that, so it's a little weird. There's a lot of weird back and forth stuff, and there's a lot of shenanigans and stuff. Oh god, it wasn't Kitase, it was the other writer. Was that Nojima? There's a moment in 7, right before Disc 3, when you return to Midgar, right, that you grab everybody and parachute off the Highwind onto the plane, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, originally, the original core writer of the game, who's, I can't remember which person that was in the team, he wanted to make it so that whatever 2 party members you pick to go with you lived, and then everybody else dies.
Damn.
And it was actually the internet's #1 punching bag, Tetsuya Nomura, who was like, let's not do that. The players are not going to like that. Let's not do that. And talked him out of it.
Well, I'm guessing.
I feel like because of Kingdom Hearts, Nomura gets unnecessary overt flack for games. Because I'm not gonna say that his approach to, like, writing and directing the Kingdom Hearts series has been perfect, right? There's some confusion. There's some stuff going on. There's some definite retcons. There's some scope creep. Mechanically, I think some of the weirdness is and writing wise is definitely due to, like, Disney's interference. When the first Kingdom Hearts game came out, Disney was kind of in a very meh point and did not really have a lot going on in the video game sphere. And now later games have come out when, like, Disney is, like, the apex of the you know, cultural triangle of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. So definitely some stuff did swap up there. But he gets blamed for everything that goes wrong with Final Fantasy ever, and it's really not his fault. And he actually he rolled some stuff back. Again, I believe this was in interviews about Remake. He apparently wanted to keep the plot pretty close to the original. A lot of the weird shit was like I said, like Kitase and Nojima being like, yeah, no, let's do some weird shit.
All right, that's.
But yeah, there's. I could literally be here for hours, so I think I probably want to pack this up. Because we got sidetracked because I was thinking about future 14 content, because Yoshi P is also always thinking about future 14 content. Patch 7.0 is apparently going to have another graphical refresh that Yoshi P's pretty excited for.
Mm-hmm.
Got to revamp some shaders and some stuff. Sounds neat.
Yeah, they're not trying to push things to the next congrats. They're just mostly tightening up a lot of things.
Yeah. And hopefully, actually probably is. 14 probably has a lot of assets that are meant to be like gradually up-res and reshaded and stuff, because a lot of the same team behind 14 is the 12 team. And this is something I learned because it was the anniversary of 12 very recently. The assets in Final Fantasy 12, while they're very compact, were future-proofed to hell. They were designed to be up-resed later, which is why Zodiac Age has a very clean HD treatment. Because they optimized the fuck out of the assets. And people who are playing 14 today, who have played 12 will probably know this because, hey, there's a lot of reused assets from 12 in 14. A lot of enemy skins were just reused because they're still really good and easily up-resed. I've seen a lot of Dragony Boys and stuff reused, for instance. But there's some other ones as well. But yeah, they're talking about, that kind of stuff. Very intrigued to see where other content goes. What they do for collabs and the like. Like, obviously, I think that 16 and 14 collabs are probably the easiest kind of stuff to do for, thematic and aesthetic reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're already in kind of a similar space with the way they're treating, summons and people and stuff, and the writers involved. So that'll probably go easier. I don't actually know what we would do for like a remake continuity series. Like probably like I think probably the coolest thing you could do and the most like thematically appropriate would be like, I don't know a lot about the Nier raids, but I know that they're like very weird and involve like direct overlaps of areas and bosses and stuff. That gets weird, of course, because Yoko Taro's involved. But like a raid series of like Sephiroth and Jenova could probably work. Jenova bosses have some weird, freaky designs they could use for some shit. Lifting Sephiroth 1-1 would be cool, but also could be difficult in continuity, though remake implies that he's doing some timeline sliding stuff. He's doing some time-space shenanigans. But there's a few things that they could go there. Just thinking about like, obviously cosmetics would be super cool. What would you do? Probably, some soldier sweaters. Soldier uniforms look comfy, guys.
They do.
Those are comfortable ass sweaters. Get you some big coats. Could probably come up with a couple of mount ideas, though obviously baseline chocobos are already in the game, and so is Cloud's motorbike. I guess they could do the remake style motorbike because that's different than the Advent Children motorbike. Sorry, I just I chuckled silently to myself because I had a thought of the crappy Shinra pickup truck mount. Make it a 3-seater. Actually, technically it's a 4-seater because Red 13 fits in there too. But that would be very funny. I'm just imagining big like Hrothgar Rogadin models crouching in the back like Barrett, sitting in the back of the pickup truck. Would be amusing as a thing. But there's a lot they could do there, and I'm interested for it. I'm also just, again, Yoshi P, font of wonderful knowledge and comments. He said something that I'm generally excited about, which is because the PAX panel for 14 was, I think, mostly just Q&A stuff.
Yeah.
No real news to talk about because they're going to have, letter from the producer and stuff later anyway. And we're planning some big maintenance and shit. But somebody asked him, probably what his favorite expansion was or whatever, and he actually did say that the one that he left most of an impression on him anyway was Heavensward. So since I am in Heavensward right now, I'm like, ooh, cool. I can see the bits that, at least Yoshi P thinks were had left the longest impression. So that's neato.
Burrito.
Lucky's playing dress up.
Yep. So it's what you got to do sometimes. You just got to get in there. You got to get pretty.
Yeah, we gotta glam it up.
Mm-hmm.
Meant me, I should probably set up some glam so I look even better. Oh, it's this place. Get ready to see a lot of this map, chat. Yeah. Welcome to Crystalline Conflict, everybody, where you get to see all this stuff. Some people have really, normal adventure plates. Some people have really try-hard ones, and then sometimes you get some goofy shit. In general, like I said earlier, I like how Crystalline Conflict is handled. Yeah, the classic "let me out." Let me out. Okay, get ready for the thing. I don't really have any complaints about maps. They're designed to be very compact. I do kind of feel like the way they've designed the walls to break up the game mechanic of line of sight sometimes also affects my real life line of sight because of framing and stuff. I noticed that you're ratcheted pretty far back in your POV. Oh wow, that one guy's very bold.
Yeah, no.
Walked right up to the crystal. See, now that I can watch Lucky do some play, I can have some actual thoughts because I understand this better.
Nope, nope, this ain't good. They're pushing us back.
Yeah.
Get on the crystal.
Found. Yeah, they're all at the point. What class are you right now? I didn't see.
I'm Summoner.
Okay. Summoner, I believe, is pretty. Lots of they're pretty preferred for.
Oh yeah, they are. But when you have 1v5 on the point, there's not a lot.
Oh yeah, no. Again, I said earlier, I mostly main Dragoon in PvP right now. I've heard that Dragoon is also considered to be pretty good in terms of DPS.
No, we're losing this one. I can tell already.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it's the quickness, but you can usually feel it coming on. Those guys are pretty coordinated. Personally, I always hope when it's 1v5 that means that, well, if they're dumping all their stuff on me, hopefully that means my teammates can help. But not always true.
Nope.
They seem pretty well put on the.
Yeah, no. Where is my fucking team?
Yeah, they're not dead. Where are they? Are they fucking around? Where'd they go? Most teams I have rolled with are usually pretty good about playing the objective. Occasionally, I do see people kind of fucking around trying to kill each other way away from the crystal. But sometimes that's just because the fight moved over there, But occasionally people farm for kills as you do. But generally,
yeah, no, it's just where are people?
One guy, but he got stunned. But no, their entire team is there, and you are on the crystal. Every time I see another guy run up, it's a red name. But yeah, I see a lot of full health bars. Are they just lost? I almost kind of wish that they would put the sprout sign in PvP so you could tell when people are just new.
Okay. Now it looks like
Alright,
now we're doing shit.
You got it together. Well,
Well, this is why I like Bahamut. Bahamut will is a tide turner. It doesn't do a fuck ton of damage per se, but it's constantly doing fucking damage in an area, and makes it kind of a pain.
Yeah.
be.
Not obviously quite as good, but the Machinist has a similar turret feature to kind of crowd control points, buff allies, hurt enemies. Limits are usually, I mean, they're, your ultimate move, your ult kind of thing. Actually, this is a good question. Do you know what year they made Crystalline Conflict?
It was only last year.
Okay, that makes sense that this is pretty recent, because this, for the most part, feels the most like just a general, MOBA or other PvP type game. Compact arenas, very simple rule set. Obviously the PvP movesets have gone through some, ups and downs. They've, developed them a certain way. But this one feels probably the tightest. Every map has kind of its own quirks that you get to learn, some of which are more entertaining than others. I personally think I like the Katakoti map the best. Because that has, like, secret passages and shit. Holding points.
This is back. Come on, keep pushing. Come on,
Gotta fuck with you.
Oh, not good. Oh, that's not good, is it either? Oh, Jesus, are we gonna pull it ahead?
Big bada boom.
Okay, no, we actually turned that around. What the fuck?
Hey, cleared the checkpoint. And won. Nice. Well, this is why, you even when it looks bad, you keep trying. But like you said, Crystalline Conflict, it flows pretty fast and it goes well. Well, usually it, goes smoothly anyway. You have your moment or you don't, and you just go home. Do it again.
I am here. Okay. And I queue up again. No, like, as long as people, like I said, I prefer it to go quick and painless. I do wish there was just a forfeit mechanic sometimes, though. When all of you are dead and they're gonna push the point, but they have to, like, push it for another 20 seconds. You're like, no, I just like to stop, please, thank you.
That's probably similar to, like, I've talked, about how, like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel usually doesn't reward surrenders. There's probably some shenanigans if you could easily forfeit the match, but I feel like once you get to the point where the crystal is unshackled, if your team just votes to forfeit because they feel like stuff's not going their way, that might just be cleaner for everybody. Obviously, some people be like, oh, you can, win trade that way, you can farm wins or whatever, but, like, listen, there's a reason why they put the point reward so close for win or show loss. It's so that you feel like no matter what you're doing, you're on your grind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, this happens with any kind of competitive situation. Sometimes you're going to look at the situation in the opening couple seconds and just be like, God. Fuck. Sorry, it's that middle fucking plate. Some people are crazy. Some people are very brazy with theirs. But, like, sometimes, in the opening moves, whether it's chess or whatever, like, to use the Yu-Gi-Oh! Example, sometimes I pull my opening hand, I look at what I got, I see my opponent play the first card, I'm going second, I'm like, this match is over. Surrender, go next. And if you don't get any rewards for that, I get it, That's just first moment I'm like, no, this is already over, go home. It's the later parts when we've been playing for like 5 minutes and then the game state like collapses down to realizing, oh shit, it's over. And then the nature of these kinds of games, whether
why do they go over there? Oh, I see what they're doing.
Trying to do a little cutoff.
Yeah, they're going around.
Yeah, there's still some high level brain think on Crystalline Conflict I don't got yet. Wow, that guy just came at you. Well, I guess it's because he saw there were only 2 of you.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I have observed, generally, what happens is everybody bum rushes for the crystal, and then, because it's not even unshackled anyway, you can't even move it, we play footsies for, those first couple seconds, because nobody really wants to be the first guy to charge in, because that guy fucking dies, usually. If you... And again, I'm playing Dragoon, so it's real easy for me to get up in the mix. If I just jump into a crowd of 5 enemies on my lonesome, everybody will dump all their moves on me, and I'm fucking dead.
Yep.
Now, strategically, right, if that happens while, like, I end up being the first guy contesting the point and they all dump all their cooldowns on me, usually I try to take that as, like, well, hopefully that means my
so much
team gets an opportunity.
CC, though. God, fuck.
That is one thing I will say. The amount of CCs for certain team comps is a little annoying. You have a way to shed it, but that's on a cooldown, so you can't do it forever. As opposed to your quick heal, which you can spam so long as you've got MP, which is neat. But yeah, there's a lot of traditional PvP CCs and crowd controls and shit. In addition to like just normal ass debuffs, right? Like Dragoon has an AoE to like debuff enemy damage. Machinist can do a lot of like weird debuffs and stuff. I assume you got some debuffs on Summoner, and maybe some squad buffs. But then there's just straight up like stuns, crowd controls. You know, I've been shrunk, I've been stunned, I've been chained. All kinds of funny stuff. Playing Dragoon, you got a couple of get out of jail buttons. I do kind of wish the Dragoon limit break wasn't quite so telegraphed. Personally, because I see a lot of people see the big circle on the ground and they're like, "Well, time to guard." But yeah, there's some strategery and stuff, and there's obviously, like I said, there's different maps. You know, this is, I don't remember what this one is called, but this is the volcano map. So, you know, sometimes the volcano freaks out and draws some lines on the ground.
You got me.
Hey, I mean, that was pretty good. You guys got all the way. You didn't set the first, but you got pushed it all the way to the first checkpoint, and that was your first death.
No, it's like I'm not like I said, I think I've said this. I'm not the worst at CC. I don't consider myself good, like in the slightest. But...
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people who seem like they were good at PvP. I don't know how they do it. Usually, it just feels like I don't even know how to describe it. It's not quite like RNG. It's just like sometimes, like I said, the game state collapses in your favor, right? Like you do a big push, you blow everybody off the point, and then well, they all gotta wait 10 seconds to come back, so you're just in the groove. I do feel like maybe players sometimes feel like they're being a little... Players tend to be cautious because, like, if you just jump in and let everybody nuke you, you will die. And people don't want to die because it slows you the fuck down. But, like, in those shy moments while you're waiting for everybody to group up, sometimes that's when the game gets real over. There's some stuff. I'll have to remember to push the buttons. I'm, like, rank 9 right now, and I've only been pushing for a couple of days. I'm gonna get my orb. The sphere. But I think the other big thing, other than just in general, like we mentioned earlier, PAX East is still ongoing, I think. Yeah, the 16 had a panel today.
Uh-oh, watch out.
Anime Japan is also this weekend. There's a lot of announcements and stuff filtering out.
God damn it, I didn't catch it. Uh-oh. I need to fall back. Oh, they got me. Let's see.
Oh, that's cool. Sorry,
Yeah,
just reading
the
news article.
fucking.
Apparently
Of course, the monk does mad damage. Let's see. Actually, let's check here. Hey, I got third on damage. Go me. Let's see here. Damage taken. I took the second most amount of fucking damage. Jesus fucking Christ. Oof. Wait, no. Is that right? No, that ain't right. This number ain't right. Oh no. I took the second least amount of damage. Okay.
Ah, yeah, you've got it sorted that way.
Yeah, okay.
That makes more sense.
Right, so I did the third most, took the second least, healed the least amount. Interesting. Well, it's because I stay back a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see here, fourth and that.
It looks like you got a decent score.
Oh,
You
I'm
got a couple
tied
kills.
for
You didn't die too many times. Got a lot of assists.
Yep. Eve.
It's definitely a lot of fun. How does Summoner play in PvP?
Range. Like, believe it or not, Summoner doesn't actually hit that fucking hard. We have a couple of, we only have one CC, which is our, Earth, which will, make people stop moving for a couple seconds. That's AoE, by the way. Then we have a pretty strong, actually, let me pull up my PvP profile here. Let me see here, job. Yeah, our main attack is ruined. Doesn't do that. It's Crimson Cyclone. It's our fucking it's our gap closer, and it does a good but once you use it, it then becomes a second attack, which you can use at range, which is very weird because you can't actually do that in a main game. You have to stay close. So usually, what summoners do is they'll hit Simon Climstone and just start immediately running back away, and then hit them with the range one. Slipstream here just puts down a dot AoE. The problem is it's a ring. So people who stand in the center take no fucking damage, and the dot's not that strong anyway. And the weird thing is party members get a fucking buff of movement speed. It's not that fucking big. It's super fucking weird.
Probably could use a little retune maybe the next season. We'll see. I've noticed the rings.
Yeah, no. A Mountain Buster hits the first person with Bind and everyone else with Heavy, and it kind of draws them all in, which, again, is not very... Like, usually you want to hit someone with Mountain Buster and then Crimson Cyclone so you can hit everybody there. But people aren't really that clustered up, so it's a little weird. Fester... Fester is probably our best ability. It only hits one target, but it does more damage the less health someone has. I don't remember. It can goes up, like, it starts at 4,000, and as a player gets closer down to 50%, it goes up to 8,000, which is okay, but it's still not that much. Like, Crimson Cyclone, our fire attack that we get every fucking 15 seconds, just does fucking 8,000, and it's a fucking AoE.
Yeah.
And, like, this has a 15-second cooldown per use. This also has a 15-second cooldown. Fester's good if you see someone low and you want to try and get some quick damage on them, but it's not that great. Our limit break is what we like to use. Basically, you throw this and all of a sudden you're defending it, because Bahamut here will attack the person with the lowest amount of health in the area. No, snipe. That's the term I want to fucking use. Summoners are built to snipe low health targets.
Yeah.
And that. Like hell. So, like, yeah. But he'll cast Worm Flare immediately, which, you know, hits everyone with, like, 6,000 attack. You get Akmorn, which is great. Akmorn is hilarious, because it has literally, I think, the biggest range in all the game. Its range is 100 yards.
A lot.
Yeah, no. Like, if you can see someone, you can hit them with Akmorn. The only problem is, though, it doesn't, yeah. But, yeah, I don't use, Phoenix. I probably should try Phoenix. Phoenix is, like it is in the main game, in which it, heals people and stuff. I should probably try that more, especially in CC when we need, like, people on points and stuff. It's not as damage, but it's good for people to not die.
It sounds like they both have their uses.
They have their uses, but Summoner is not a get up in someone's face and kill them. It's usually a hang back and wait for someone to be a bit low, and then you rush in and try to finish them off.
Yeah. And I assume that's probably why they sound like they are a recommended or preferred PvP class, because they probably get a lot of kills and or assists depending on how much percentage you do, because you're picking off weak targets. Yeah, I won't claim to be like crazy good at PvP Dragoon, but I feel like I got a decent grasp of the strategy because, you know, like you would expect, Dragoons have lots of jump, so, you know, you can very easily high jump to gap close. You've got your... I will say, I wonder if how much engineering is in it, but I do like how they handle the concept of PvP hotbars and actions. Like, you have a lot of stuff that automatically rotates, as opposed to, like, in the main game where even if you have, like, combos or switch-ups, they're usually still, some of the time, separate buttons. But, like, you know, PvP just auto-sets up the combos. So, like, for instance, you know, Dragoon just have one button, which is just their 3-hit combo, which is just a 3-button rotation of normal attacks. They've got a draining attack to, like, do damage and heal themselves. You've got your elusive jump to get the fuck out there, but that then turns into a ranged blast, which does more damage based on how far away you are. So, like, usually when guys get up in your business...
Fucking Aaron's on the other side!
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Yeah, I haven't run into any of you guys yet, but I don't think we've been coordinating.
Aaron!
I would joke about Aaron stream sniping you, but I don't even think that's helpful. Just because of how compact CC is, right?
Yeah.
There's no stream sniping. You know where the entire team is the entire time.
Aaron and Chad just, uh-oh.
Yeah. Right, we're ready. But yeah, like, Dragoon seems like its main focus is, also, yeah, there's stream lag. Some people have very low latency, but Dragoon seems like it's big for hit and runs, you know? You see a guy, you jump on him, you clown on him, you can, you know, pop your AoE damage down. You've got a couple of, like, comboed in AoEs, and then you just get the fuck out of there.
Oh, they got a summon on the opposite team.
And then their limit break is, you know, big AoE damage and setup because you jump up and then you crash down. It's a little telegraphed, but it works. I kind of feel like like I said, I put a little bit enough time into Machinist in PvP to actually get it to level up. I feel a little bit weird about how Machinist is set up in PvP because obviously you have, you know, global cooldowns and stuff, but also you have several other, like, resources counts. So you have, like, one button that goes through, like, 4 or 5 different moves. It's getting blasted. That guy's making a run for the potion.
Oh, here comes some erosion. Here comes some fucking eruption.
Hot magma. But, like, so the Machinist, like I said, it feels weird because even if you've got, you know, like, multiple moves that combo together, you can only do 2 in a row, and then you gotta wait for the recharge and the cooldown. So sometimes I feel like I'm, like, doing the movement, the setup, like, I'm picking guys off. It's cool. I'll scattergun them off the point. Though for console anyway, scattergun is a little weird because it's not like... It's technically a multi-hit attack, but it still, like, locks onto a guy and then hits a second guy, maybe. Or it hits the first guy twice if there's nobody else to hit. So I will occasionally get some weird lock-on issues. But, it's, sometimes I feel like
someone
I
is
get a good
attacking me.
combo
Fuck,
strike
sometimes
and
it's
I
hard to see people.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, I talked about this. The FOV is a little interesting for CC because the way the walls are built to, like, break up the game mechanic of line of sight means that they can block your actual line of sight. So sometimes you ratchet out, and then it's hard to tell if there's guys on you. Because I assume that, like, most people, you are on, like, you know, not no flash, but, you know, minimal flash in circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
But there's still a lot of shit going on, as people can see.
I don't even know if I've hit Aaron at all. I haven't been paying attention to names. I've just been trying to hit.
That's usually how I feel like playing CC. There's no time for animosity or a lot of strategy. I know some people will do, like, prio markers that I try and follow, but otherwise it's just like, is there a guy touching my crystal, or is there a guy trying to come touch my crystal? Fucking kill him. Am I dying? Get the fuck out of there. Like, because it's so compact, there's not a lot of time for big brain thinky thoughts.
Oh.
Lucky is settling this grudge match. I'm going to step away for a second and take a bite. I'll be right back. I'll pause the audio.
Yep, here comes mid-death.
Mid-death? No, I definitely want to deafen me. Don't hit disconnect from the VC.
Just leave. It's like, I'm out. Bah! Where are we at? 50%? Oh, we only got a minute left? Jesus, okay. I didn't know we were going that hard. Guess we were. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I died. I was concerned about this person around the corner and not the person, 2 feet to my left. Pick up buffs while you can. Jesus! This is why I hate overtime right now. Is because we're technically in the lead, but because they had control of it when because we didn't have control when the timer went out. They get this one last chance to get it, and I'm just like, no, just end it, win or lose. I just want this to be over. Oh, I got 6 kills that time. Jesus. Okay, good.
Talk about overtime?
Yeah, no, like, I don't like the fact, like, I know, that giving the people that one last chance to, let me give a comment out before I forget. I know people want that chance, to turn around at the last second, but, like, just let it be over, like, at whoever wins. That's like, I have seen some turnarounds and some upsets, but I've also seen it just drag on way too long, and I'm just like, blah.
Yeah, there's probably some wiggle room there with like the overtime timer. It should, and I think for the most part, overtime only kicks in when both teams are contesting the crystal. But I don't know the exact mechanics. It probably should be just down to like, are we actively fighting over the crystal right now? That should probably count as overtime. But once they stop touching it, which is how it usually works, it should probably wrap up pretty fast, one way or the other. And again, I feel like the way 14 has balanced the PvP rewards is the difference between winning and losing in Crystalline Conflict is just like 200 points, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like I personally feel like it's no skin off my nose, right? So I kind of agree that there would be some moments, but sometimes you get in the heat of the moment, you feel the pushback. I think they streamed some I feel like Square Enix had some Crystalline Conflict events. So for the esports part of it, if you're trying to be part of that sphere, though, I don't know how in demand that is because I feel like I'm constantly hearing about esports is imploding because there's simultaneously too much and not enough money in it. But that probably makes for a better spectacle. That comeback moment. But in general play, it really doesn't matter that much. Is there? There are, I think, achievements for winning more in PvP, but there's not really like any other extra reward besides the slight point differential, right?
I don't think
because
so,
you
no.
also still get PvP XP and rank up that way.
Aaron has logged out. Destroyed.
Hit him so bad he had to log out.
Mm-hmm. Or internet issues.
It's true. Stuff does happen.
Let me see here.
But other than just some general announcements and stuff, which I have not, because they're all still ongoing. Probably the biggest news thing to talk about is Resident Evil 4 Remake has come out.
Yay!
Game real, game good. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all knew that because, as I mentioned, I think a little bit last week, but like, Capcom was early with those review copies.
Oh yeah, they were out like weeks.
Yeah, like
Wait,
last week
yeah.
easily. People were had reviews and were in there. Pretty good. But yeah, let's see. Nope. It's the PS5 version, which I believe is the version we both have, is 93 on Metacritic, a must play.
I can agree with this. Yeah, I'm just looking at my fucking overall. I've done like 151 front lines. I get third place the most at 60. Second place the second at 48, and first and 30, which it's not super one-sided, I'll say. Looking at this. Yeah, no, they even got like straight up percentages here. I get first like a quarter of the time, second 30% of the time, and third like 40% of the time.
Stats.
Stats. All right, so let's take a break from doing that though and go do something else.
Well, that's a good opportunity for us to talk about Resident Evil, then.
Yeah.
And honestly, should probably start with you a little for preamble because we're streaming it on Monday.
Yes.
Just to remind everybody. So whatever stream is, I'll have to come up with a thumbnail. See if I can edit a tear a bit over Leon. But you played the demo at first to kind of like warm up to it, and that kind of gave you some thoughts and stuff. I did not play the demo. I was like, well, I've got the pre-order and the game's coming out soon. I'll just play it when it hits and, go from there. And I play other video games in the meantime. But you did play the Chainsaw demo, and that kind of gave you some initial thoughts and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to play the demo before we got started because I wasn't sure if I was actually going to crack open the game and get started it immediately. I don't know if I didn't want to know if I wanted to, give it that good old virgin playthrough, but Chainsaw demo definitely, I'm going to say, gave me some agita over a couple of things. If you were here during the Final Fantasy XIV stream on Wednesday, you probably heard of some of them. Most notably, Lucky doesn't like weapon durability. I'm okay with it when you have a easy, accessible way to repair things, so things aren't just, lost forever for no particular reason except that, RNG has fucked you. Like in New Vegas, weapons had durability there, and often many of the weapons you started off with were shit, but you can smack two varmint rifles together and come out with a slightly better varmint rifle, and you're just like, oh, okay, sick.
Yep. You could also, if you really were like 0 points in repair, you could pay people to fix them too.
Yeah. But games like Breath of the Wild, where you use you find a cool sword, you like that sword, it will last you like 3 enemies, then it breaks, and you gotta switch to another sword. A third of the game will you running around looking for a new fucking weapon. Do you like that weapon?
Yeah,
you like that weapon?
Literally every single weapon I found, I put in my pocket.
Like, did you know you can throw weapons? It's great, except they usually fucking break when you do it.
Yep. So you don't want to throw any of your good shit. Also, it is also, because you can throw it, it's possible not to just break it, but also just fucking whiff and throw it into the void.
It's like, goodbye.
You can set your own waypoints in that game, but if you lose track of it, there's no waypoint tracking on that weapon. You lose it, you can't find it again. It was like, for a Zelda game, it was a really, intriguing, cool switch up. But I think almost everybody says about Tears of the Kingdom, please do something about disposable weapons.
It's like, it's okay to have weapons break, just not disappear into the fucking void when they do so.
Yeah. And obviously the reason why you're talking about this is in the chainsaw demo, your knife in the game, your knife does have durability. That's not like a demo only feature. It has a little bar.
Yes.
But from the sounds of it, from the way you played it, the knife in the demo is a little, because we can say this story has a quote unquote happy ending. The knife in the demo is a little skinnier than your normal knife.
Yeah, no, like, if you use the knife in the demo to parry like 4 times or get that sneak attack like 4 or 5 times, it's just broken. In like the actual game, because I did decide to actually boot it up and try it, it's like 3 times that. Like, you still can note it going down, but it doesn't go down nearly anywhere as much, which is a lot more tolerable. Like, I think I was able to actually, able to get through the fucking village, in the main game, because, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know if the fucking, the chainsaw demo actually has it in state, or is it just you fighting waves forever? Like, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I don't know if guys keep coming.
I do know that
village in game is technically a time segment.
Yeah, but I will say, yeah, no, there are some areas with just infinitely spawning mobs. I will say they don't spawn like infinitely. They'll spawn like 3 at a time, and then you gotta kill them. Actually, the funny thing but no, the knife is not as weak and breakable as I initially thought. I still don't like weapon durability because, again, if you just aren't playing that well, or RNG fucks you, you can and will just run out of stuff. And once your knife breaks, you can't even use it to slash things.
Yeah.
Everyone always like, oh, you can increase the durability. Yes, you can increase the durability after you've gone through several hard fights, don't know what the fuck you're doing, and, can completely fuck yourself. Like, stop telling me that I can increase the durability later. I'm not talking about later, I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
God,
it is a thing you can do, but yeah, a lot of people were just like, oh, well, you can increase it. So I've played the game.
Yeah.
I own a copy, I pre-ordered it, I got my gold attaché case, got my handgun charm. I thought about swinging for the higher level editions, but there's a lot of stuff coming out, so I went for normal version. I gotta, re-up my 14 sub before long, and other video games in April as well, so did that. But yeah, they're probably gonna patch it. I haven't noticed any weirdness, but I've only played through I'm in chapter 2 right now, so I'm not very deep, but I got a couple hours in. And yeah, I know why they chose it for the demo, because the village is a very iconic segment. It's, where you meet Mr. Man with the chainsaw.
Chainsaw Man.
No data. No, it's okay. Okay. Sorry, was double checking stream for a second. No, we're fine. Just YouTube giving me an error. But that's a very iconic segment, right?
Right.
So when I got there in the game, at first I was like, oh, this is, teaching me about avoiding fights and, sneaking. No. You cannot sneak the village.
No.
It is literally not possible. You are not allowed to clear it that way. You will have to get into the mix to, trigger all the events so you can actually get out of there. If you try and sneak past, there is a literal man who does nothing but stands in front of the exit and will cause an alert. So I thought that was where we were going, and after I died the first time, I realized, no, okay, so this is, it feels more like the game is trying to teach you about how to use the map to avoid clusters of enemies and not let them get up on you.
Yeah.
Because that is a lesson you do need to learn. You were talking about this in the demo in the main game as well, but the villagers, the ganados, they're smart. They're crafty.
Yep.
If you let them, they're real good at cutting you off. In general, they're not faster than Leon.
No.
but sometimes they can get some bursts of speed. My number one fear currently in the early game is old farming ladies with pitchforks.
Yep. They charge you and they will track.
Yeah, and there's not really a lot you can do about that. There is still no Dodgerino button.
You can
You
parry.
can parry?
You can parry. Yep.
Yeah. You can parry if you go for that option, but you can't. I don't believe you can parry with your gun drawn. So if you're already shooting, usually your better bet is just
I think you can
hope
parry.
to stop them.
I think you can parry. You just gotta let go of the gun and immediately push the L1. Like
It's good that things seem controls. By the way, do seem very responsive. I'm playing on standard, you know, because the game is like this is your button for, you know, this is your difficulty for if you didn't really play the first one, which is true. I did not. I think I've told this story.
I'm playing standard as well, and I can kind of see why they recommend people who have already played RE4 to maybe play on hardcore. Because after I've gotten over, like, my initial hump of difficulty, things are just moving along. Now, like I'm still having trouble. Like, villagers are still wily as fuck. You know, you point a gun at them, they'll start, you know, ducking, weaving, and dodging.
Mm-hmm.
But no.
Also, they cheat. Lucky I have found infinite dynamite men.
Yep.
I also do not like them.
Yep. Just shoot the dynamite in their hand when it's lit. Same with Molotovs.
Yeah, I'll be doing that. They can be alerted to your presence and throw dynamite at you even if they don't have line of sight, which makes it hard to shoot back at them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the game likes to fuck with you. I check all my corners and I watch all the floors. You step in one bear trap, you learn your lesson.
I actually try not to. You can actually set them off by shooting them or knifing them.
Yeah.
But they work on the villagers just as much as they work on you.
Yeah, I only pop bear traps when I've cleared out all enemies. One thing I will say, much like both the original and the new Dead Space, the sound design in the RE4 remake, very good. I'm playing with headphones in, actually. There's a lot of really subtle both sound and music cues for stuff that's going on. Usually you can hear enemies way before you can see them. Because the Ganados just like to cuss to themselves in Spanish a lot, I guess. But usually you can get a feel for where they are with directional audio, and music changes and their sound quality changes when they're alerted. And then when you've dealt with all enemies immediately in an area, usually that's when the music, hits a still and it goes all quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, I don't Leon, quietest shoes I have ever heard. I don't know what brand Brandy's wearing. They are quiet as fuck. Because the game is trying to let you be aware for like other sound cues, but like I appreciate that when you move, you're pretty quiet. Not that it matters, because like I said, villagers will sleep through some shit. If they're not looking directly at you, you can get away with some stuff and still like breaking some boxes. But yeah, like I said, I did the village myself, and I got once before I learned my lesson. I tried to sneak it, and that just turned into a terrible bottleneck, so I died. But later I did, some ring around the rosy and shit, found the shotgun, all that other fun stuff. But I definitely used up a decent chunk of my knife in that fight, clearing guys and pushing them off me. So for fights after that, I was definitely at a point where I'm like, okay, I know the knife can run out of durability. I could try and get some stealth kills, but there's usually a decent wealth of guys. So I'm just not going to roll. I'm going to hold on to my knife in case I need it to break grapples.
Yeah. That's...
Yeah, so I ended up just going mostly ham in Chapter 1 with my gun. It worked out okay.
Yeah, no.
And also, shout out to Friendly Farm Animals.
That they helped you out too as well, huh?
Yeah, no. That the cowhead man. Well, first of all, friendly fire does exist in this game.
Yes,
and I'm glad for it. You can make those guys fuck themselves over pretty good. So he clowned on most of the enemies, but yeah, he got fucking fuck boxed in the barn by like 2 pigs and a bull, and I was just like, well, thanks, farm animals. They're okay in my books.
They hate cultists too.
Especially when they're rolling around in bloody cow skulls and swinging hammers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that, like I said, the village was going to be the teaching you the stealth mechanics segment. No. That's the start of Chapter 2.
Yeah.
That's when they hand you a bunch of kitchen knives and are like, okay, we're going to teach you how to sneak. which I kind of appreciate a little more. Some of the wiggliness. That's it. Like it's very tutorialized. Like it's very clearly, hey, here's how you stealth kill. Hey, here's how you parry. But it works.
I think it's very weird that they wait till now to teach me after they give you a big combat encounter, though. That's the thing that's killing me.
Yeah, the pacing is weird, right? Like, I don't... If the village was, like, shorter, like the timing windows were shorter, or it was easier, I could understand. But no, like, I feel like the village is still... And I think in the original game it was as well. The village is like a fucking gut check.
Oh, no,
like,
actually,
like,
actually, the village is actually really easy to fucking cheese. They actually removed this ability in the remake. But if in the village, if you can go and quickly grab the shotgun from the main house. But if you go up to the lighthouse and just wait at the top there, and just pop people in the head as they climb up the ladder, people can't reach you.
Yeah, no, I understand how that doesn't work in the remake because I shout out to them for doing this.
Yep.
After the timed encounter is over, you can explore and get all your shit. It's good for a reload.
Yep.
Obviously, you only get loot from dead people that you killed, but you can still get a decent amount of stuff back, which was good because I used those first round of shotgun shells liberally. Listen, when two little old ladies with kitchen knives and Dr. Chainsaw climb out a window after you, it's like, well, there's always buckshot. But yeah, when I climbed up in the tower, the floor just falls the fuck out.
Yep.
After you get the stuff, so yeah, you can't do that exploit. So yeah, no, it feels like an early game gut check. Like, hey, are you sure? Are you down to clown with this game? Are you ready? Do you really want to be playing on this difficulty kind of stuff? Like, it's not too hard, but you will use up some resources and you will get clonged over. I don't know how frequently those chickens lay eggs, but technically there are, like, recurring healing resources in the village.
Yeah.
Because eating a raw egg does actually heal you a decent amount.
So does eating vipers.
It's very... Okay, good to know for later. But
I will say though, save your
too.
vipers. There's a quest related to them though.
Okay. Merchant Man's got some flyers for me. All right.
Yeah.
I like side quests. And yes, I have met our Lord and Savior, the Merchant.
Not the same voice, but it's pretty close.
Things. Yeah, pretty close in the same accent. Not quite the same. And he's already down to clown. I like that just like in the original, there's no fucking context to this guy.
He's just there.
Like, you like I said, you do the very forced stealth segment because they took all your shit after some plot stuff happened. And Luis is a dickhead to you. Bye, buddy. Alright, thanks. Thanks, my guy. But, like, you just leave the abandoned factory and you just open the door and he's just there. He's like, oh, looks like you're in a bind. Come over here, let's do some business. And, like, Leon doesn't ask shit. He's just like, you will take money for gun?
This is great.
And I did, in fact, take he had a whirlwind deal. Rifle plus scope. I was like, yeah.
Nah, I appreciate that. That's like, it's the exact same place you get it in the original game. Like, that's the thing I'm feeling about this. This is the original game, just better. Like, even the shoot the fucking blue targets, is still there. Unfortunately, well, actually, I don't know. I don't think I've actually gotten far enough. But originally in RE4, I think there was like total like 13 medallions. They're in 2 locations. Once you get all of them, he gives you a free gun. That's probably no longer there. Probably.
Yeah, probably not. Probably what happens instead is you get spinel stones for it and just pick up gun.
Yeah, no. The spinel thing is interesting. I like what they did here. Because the spinel stones were like the Velvet Blues in the OG game, which they were just little nothing things that you can oops, I just turned off my tank stance. There are little nothing things that you can just sell for a little bit of cash, but here in RE4 Remake, they've turned them into the special currency item. How you get your maps, maybe some yellow herb.
Yeah. And a couple of other stuff, like you can get a pretty nice handgun right away.
Yeah.
I like his dialogue when you pick it up. He's like, ooh, good choice, stranger. That ammo will pierce through things. Like, thanks for the upsell, buddy. No. And obviously, when you find Merchant Man, that is when you can access Fix My Knife menu and upgrade your durability and damage, which are probably what I'm going to do.
I did, yes.
Yeah, no. Before I even bought like gun or extra attaché space or anything, I'm like, fix knife, more knife. Also, I'm gonna put a couple of these kitchen knives in my typewriter for storage for later.
You can put them in your storage. I wasn't able to put them in my storage.
I think I was able to store them. I think I stored one. I did throw one that was mostly done on the ground. I'll double check. I might also just be carrying 3 kitchen knives because I'm like, fuck it. I think I stored them though.
I will say, note this for later. If you do pick up the bolt thrower, because sometimes things go on sale, you can use old kitchen knives to make bolts, to make ammo.
Ah, okay.
Which is something that's interesting. They didn't have the bolt thrower in the game, but they did have the mine layer, which most people kind of regarded as weird and garbage. But they've made it interesting here because it's originally a bolt thrower, but you can make explosive bolts using mine, so it's like kind of the same thing. So I'm like, oh, sick. They're putting a lot of thought.
So
they're putting thought into
they
it.
found some stuff in here.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had quite a few years to actually like think about this, right?
Yeah.
Because they've re-released the game a lot, so there's a lot to learn there to pick up. I'm kind of like, just for personal purposes, I'm kind of a little annoyed that like, unless that's an option I didn't figure out yet, attachments still stay separate in your attaché case. You don't squish them together.
Yeah, I think it's fair. They still.
Oh no, yeah, it's fair. I just kind of wish that like maybe that would change the shape of the gun or whatever, but it's fine. It works out. Got scope, got shotgun, got a pistol, got backup pistol. Crafting seems pretty robust and fair.
Yeah, the crafting is new, but I can't say I hate it. Like, I do like the ability just to be like, oh shit, I'm getting low on ammo. How much gunpowder do I have on hand?
Yeah, and I like that they generalize just resources.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm pretty sure this is taken from mostly from 7. While you could combine things, obviously, in lots of Resident Evil games historically, combine your herbs to make them do better. 7 added definitely the like, hey, if you can find, gunpowder and like plastic or something, and just make more bullets when you need to. So like, obviously, it's better if a villager just drops a pile of 4 bullets, but sometimes they just drop a gunpowder instead, which you can turn into bullets. And if you get a lot, you can turn it into shotgun shells, etc., etc. So like, it's a good system that I think helps with like the resource drag, because usually I feel like after a combat encounter, I feel like I get most of my stuff back, whether it's I directly get more bullets back or I just get more gunpowder back. But like, it feels like it kind of naturally replenishes itself. Obviously, I'm not that far, but
No, like in the playthrough, like I technically haven't actually saved on my game. I've just been going further and further. Like when we actually start Monday, I will actually be saving and stuff. But no, like right now, like I have like 10 extra shotgun cells, like 30 extra handgun bullets, like 5 extra rifle bullets. I have 4 grenades, 2 flashbangs. I think I have.
They're very generous with grenades.
Well, they are one-time use. I appreciate that they actually make grenades 1x1s instead of 1x2s. They were 1x2 in the original game. All grenades were 1x2s. I have not seen the incendiary grenades though. But like, no, they're fairly generous with items, and like I said, enemies like usually will drop something, even if it's just 400 pesetos.
But hey, they do it. You get to go. You just find your boy and take him back. I like that. Because I know this is a thing that like at least 2 Remake didn't do, but I like that 1, you can sell back used key items.
Yep.
Really rad. And 2, that is a separate inventory tracking. is look at your key items and your treasures.
Yep. I am glad that they've seemed to have actually expanded on the combine your treasures to get more value out of them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no. Originally you could do that, but you would just fill it up with whatever, and it'd pretty much be the same price. But now you can get actual special monitors, like if you use different colors or all the same color of your thing.
Yeah.
It's quite fun.
And there's some, and like I said, you can sell back the key items and stuff. It's very solid work there. It seems like there's still a decent amount of quality of life while still keeping the tension, right? Like when I hear villagers mumbling, it's not like I'm like, I have 32 handgun rounds. This is easy. It probably is, but I'm still like, all right, okay. Where are they coming from? What fresh hell is this? Is there shit on the ground? Am I going to blow up? What are they doing? You know, because there's a lot of environmental stuff.
Mhm.
Tripwires, bear traps. And also the game in general, just very goopy.
Yeah, no, like, I was kind of surprised. I'm like, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but the fact how they just redid all the environments just to be that much more dilapidated and broken down, it just makes me go, wow.
And grungy. There's a lot more piles of stagnant water, you know, piles of mud and manure, and just like lots of
Dead
blood
animals and just
yeah.
ooh. Yeah, no, they went all out on the environment, and I feel it like after a combat, and you know the music calms down, and Leon does his combat's over animation, maybe says a one-liner, you know, that's a good tension break, but I never feel comfortable, like, ever.
Yeah, no, like I'm listening for those audio cues to be like, okay, are we cool? All right, I can walk around. But even when you're walking around, like we said, it's not over. There's still going to be some leftover bear traps, and there's going to be fucking tripwires, and I'm sure they'll come up with other fresh hell.
Sometimes,
and there are...
Sometimes a dude will just be sitting on the toilet when you open the door, and he's just like, ugh. That happened to me.
The you know, no scary music just means that, like, all the guys who have procced on you are dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that enemies are actually gone, you know? I do appreciate Leon, though, very greatly.
Yes, no.
Still got some great zippy liners.
Where did everyone go? Bingo.
Yeah. Like...
Title drop.
I also... Yeah, I know. I was actually surprised that was the title cut was after the village. I'm like, damn, that's good.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I know several people have enjoyed the line Leon says at the beginning where he's talking about that day, 1998. And he's just like, that day, the cop and me died. A lot of people apparently like that line because they're like, woo, he's not a cop. There's definitely some you know, some extra emphasis there on his character. Got some great liners. And I also appreciate, you know, they kept all the spin kicks.
Oh, yeah.
Very powerful spin kicks.
Oh, yeah, no. If I'm fortunate, a shot to the head in a melee can take down a dude.
Yeah. So you got to be careful. Sometimes guys with broken necks come back.
That is also a time. That is also a time where I'm just like, knife.
Like, ha! Because like they're again the models are fairly realistic now. They are not shy. When dudes go parasite mode, they're like, okay, that guy has a broken ass neck and he is dead, but he is still walking around. He's gonna get me.
He is gonna get you.
Crouching and sneaking, great. You've talked about this. The hitboxes are very fine. You can just duck axes and shit.
Oh, no, I love that so much. It's such a little thing, but the fact that I see, like, because the game's very, very generous. Like, you know, the Ganados will have, like, a good wind-up animation. You'll know that they have an axe in their hand and stuff. Like, they're not just gonna...
Also, as I said, they are so many audio cues. They make so much noise.
Yeah. So, like, no, you just see it coming and they throw it, and you can just, like, double tap, like, almost like double tap it, and it'll just go flying over you. Or if you get another villager in between you, it will hit them. I'm just like, that's so great.
Yeah, the physical interactions in general seem great. You can duck a lot of stuff, dodge a lot of stuff.
Like, this
Sprinting is very responsive. I like how quick turn is just integrated with sprint. You just lean right back while you're holding sprint, and you do the quick turn.
Mm-hmm.
Just nope on out of there.
It takes a little bit of getting used to, but
yeah. And like, I'll say this: it's not like this is no like Platinum Games ass thing. Like, you've got a little bit of wind up to your animations. You know, it takes a second to crouch and get back up and stuff. But if you know the timing, you can manage it very well. And in general, like, it has a lot, I think, going on there to like make it worthwhile. Like, you know, you don't get any free moves, but you're very responsive. And I do like that they switched up. You know, they seem to have done some extra action for knife combat, right? Like, if you're just solo knifing, you can just go into knife mode and do quick stabs.
Yep.
Or you can do your big sweepy stabs, you know, for clearing out guys. Got a wide variety of various things going on.
yeah, no, if you're like actually low on like ammo, you can just, you know, shoot someone in the face, kick them on the ground, and go to town with a knife like you do in the OG.
Yeah. And enemies do set up for the stuns, you know. I don't know when it'll come up, but I see many people saying things like, yes, you can still suplex guys.
Oh, yeah, that's a knee shot. You have to shoot him in the knee.
Ah, okay, that sets you up for the suplex.
Yeah.
Usually I try to aim for the head.
Yeah,
but...
head gives you the spinning kick. Knees gives you a suplex. But they actually have to go down on the knee, I believe.
Yeah. And I'm glad they've got all this stuff set up, right? Like, the animations are very fluid. You got a lot of responsiveness. I like how, like, you can, you know, obviously pre-reload, but, you know, if you just run out of ammo and you push the button, you know, you push the shoot again, Leon just does the reload, slings the mag to the side, you know, and goes. I need to find a revolver and see if he still has the fucking chuck it over his shoulder animation.
I don't think he does. I think I heard someone talking about how the broken butterfly animation isn't as sick anymore.
It obviously there's still some great action moments, you know, and there's some very interesting things that Leon just does not give a shit about. Like I talked about how, you know, you fall through the floor at the clock tower or the bell tower, whatever it is. Other than just going, Leon really doesn't seem to care. Like I don't think that damages you at all. It's just kind of surprising. And obviously, if you did that in the middle of the encounter when all the guys are on you, that's probably bad. But
oh yeah,
you know. You can jump through some windows and do some rolls pretty easily. But it's warm, y'all. Sun's going down. It's still warm. But like the while you're still, you know, action hero-y, the animations are, I feel like, a little more reserved. I just don't think they have really good choreo, and obviously they probably did a lot of really good mocap for this, but it still feels like there's a lot of you know, grounded stuff going on. Like for the most part, it's pretty reasonable. So, you know, I can understand them rolling in some of the stuff, though we know from some trailers there's still some zany shit. I haven't seen it yet, obviously, but I know there's some Indiana Jones-ass minecart shit that they really played up. But yeah, after we're finished here, which probably won't be too much longer. We did start a little early, so I gotta get some food on at some point. But I will probably, you know, go right back to it after some food.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll pop in and get my CCs in for the day. But also gotta, you know, want to have a decent grasp for a Monday as well, so I can have my own commentary about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you guys are excited for Monday. It'll be fun.
I am.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any, like, obviously there's something to be said for, you know, completely blind playthroughs. That's how, for instance, played that's how I did God of War, right? You know, how we've done some other games. But I talked about this, and it seems like this is, like you said, with the playing through the remake as well on standard. It really is still just RE4, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not like this can be a truly blind experience for you. You've already played it. Hell, even though I never, like, wasn't able to physically play the game far because I only owned it. And I think I still have that scratch disc somewhere. I still, you know, saw people on the internet play it and saw videos. Like, it would be hard for me to have a completely blind experience with it. It's just like that. It's like our comments earlier about how I don't feel bad talking about Aerith's death because that's like 1/3 of the way into a 25-year-old video game and everybody knows it. So getting a little bit of setup time, I think, is okay to feel it out. And I definitely do know some streamers will sometimes, if they don't know for sure about the games, you know, how they're going to go, they'll play a couple hours to get the feel. You don't want to look like a complete donkus on stream, you know? Want to have some flow. But there'll be some stuff to get in, and we'll see how far we get. We should probably get decently in. Like, Chapter 1's pretty short. I'm not done with Chapter 2 yet, so I don't know how long that takes. I don't know how many chapters there are. I think I've heard people say that you can scoot through the game in about 20 hours still. Though obviously that's depending on shenanigans, because, you know, there are side quests and stuff. Merchant Man, you know, can give you some very weird asks. Okay, 16 chapters? All right, so some of those chapters gotta be chunky if it's 20 hours. Ish. I do know that, like, day of, I saw some people marathoning it for, you know, like, at least 12 hours without being done. Shit like that. but yes.
This dude casts.
Your merchant friend has some very weird asks. The moment after you meet him, he hands you a flyer and is like, "Go kill 3 rats." I'm like, okay.
Yep.
I need the reward, so I'm gonna do it. But all right. But yeah, all in all, it's game plays great. Like, you know, I'm playing on standard, so there's not aim assist generally. So like, do you have to do a fresh game if you do the speed run? Because I know that there's going to be New Game Plus and carryover and shit.
I don't know about that.
So if you can do it baseline, you know, you'll unlock some outfits and shit. So presumably you get to keep some stuff. Just clear a run in 8 hours. Yeah, so probably you can do some setup for that. It reminds me of like playing Metal Gear Solid 4. You had New Game Plus carryover. You could just start the game again. So that's how I did all the like no alerts, no kills, higher difficulty shit. Was just I built up a shitload of Drebin points. Also, I don't think I've ever personally done a Metal Gear Solid run where I did both no kills and no alerts at the same time. In 4, it's pretty easy to do the quote unquote no kills if you just load up onto the beanbag shotgun.
Yeah.
And just every time you run into a guy, you're like, go to sleep, bang.
I was a fan of the stun grenade launcher.
Yeah, that's another good one. That's another thing you can do on New Game Plus. Keep the MGL and just be like, stun grenade, go to sleep, flashbang. And similarly, again, no alerts is real easy if you buy really expensive guns with high grade suppressors and just kill everybody from 400 miles away. But yeah, I do actually. It's a little weird. It's a little retro, but I do like the chapter breaks. You know, I've only gotten one, but it's kind of nice to be like, okay, chapter's over. You have a moment to save. Hey, here's how you did. Yeah, you know. Give you some score. I'm like, oh, that's you know, pleasantly retro, right?
Yeah.
I know that's how the original game had some scoring elements.
Oh yeah, no, you could actually get a rating. I do believe they still have the rating system because they do have challenges now, which give you points that let you you can buy, you know, your bottle caps and like other things. I think at some point you might even be able to get like apparel and weapons, excuse me.
Well, I should actually pop up the challenges and check them about stuff. I like the names of them. The one for getting a stealth kill is Knife to Meet You. You know, it's got that very like dry gallows humor shit you see in a lot of horror movies that I appreciate. Like RE4 starts very violent and serious, right? Like before credits roll, a dude gets a living man gets set on fucking fire. He gets burned at the stake. Leon breaks a guy's neck, and all he does is be like, "That's not good."
He's like, "Now I'm angry."
He's like, "Well, shit, you know." A bunch of guys, you know, corner you in a room, and he's just like, "I'll see myself out." Dives out window. You know, you see a lot of dead animals and stuff. You know, can almost get murdered by a chainsaw man. That's where the, you know, where's everybody going? Bingo comment comes in, and then the credits roll. So, like, the game is very violent and visceral still. And, like I said, very, very gross. Everything is so grungy and gooey. It's got those great moments. I think I see, because I do believe this is also still on PS4, I see the moments where they got some loading time room, because they kind of kept some of the original, like, gates and stuff you'd have to go through, which I'm sure were full-blown loading screens. Or, you know, zone breaks before. Yeah. They play pretty seamlessly on PS5, but I can see the moments where, like, they have enough time to let you, you know, cycle in.
Well, yeah, no, that animation where, you know, Leon, you know, pushes against it and stuff. Yeah, normally that wouldn't happen. It would just been like a fade to black and you appear on the other side. Yeah.
But that gives you some room to load in, which is, you know, I appreciate that we're getting better about making those more seamless if you're on higher end tech. And it'll be really interesting to see. I know that there was some footage of 16 where you go through like some narrow passages and stuff that some people were a little heated on, because they're like, oh, well, we thought that was code for like loading. Is there going to be load times on the PS5? I don't actually think it's supposed to be like a hidden loading thing. I think it might just be like a funnel the player kind of a thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I'll say this, anybody who complains about the yellow shit in RE4 is wrong.
Well, that's the funny thing is not everything that can be as breakable is highlightable. You know, lockers, desks, and dressers can be open too, and there's no indication on that. I guarantee.
No, only when you get up close do you see like, hey, you can open this.
Yeah.
But so yeah, there's hidden stuff, but also just like, hey, if nothing was marked, you would not be able to tell anything interactable in this game because it is all like much more realistic and colored. And like I said, everything is fucking gross and grungy, right?
Right.
Like if you couldn't see like, oh, this ledge I can jump in, or, you know, hell, doorways are not usually marked like that, right? Like they're just doors. So it can be hard to tell like if it's a door you can actively go in, if it's locked, etc. Obviously, you know, if it's locked from one end, you can see the very obvious shiny padlocks, but there's a lot of stuff that's still concealed, like you said. And fuck, dude, sometimes you need to just tell the player where to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, it gets harder and harder to tell. And I talked about this a lot on the 14 stream as well, because that's when a lot of those complaints were coming out from early footage and demos and stuff. But, like, listen, sometimes I don't got a good sense of direction. And, you know, I don't, there was a little thing you got in the farm. There was a pendant. I fucked it up. I didn't even realize there was a well.
Oh, yeah,
that wasn't
no.
yellow colored.
That's something that'll get you a couple times. That happens multiple times. You have to pay attention to where something will land. Yeah.
Yeah. I've much like with the bear trap, did that once, learned my lesson. But I don't think I would have noticed that was a thing if it was just like a lamp on a normally colored windmill, right? I would have thought that was just part of the environment.
No,
and obviously some people will be like, "Ooh, well, you know, it should be like that. It should be secrets for people." But like, again, I've been watching somebody play the original Final Fantasy VII, right? That game has too much optional shit. There is so much, like, not just good, like, mechanical shit that makes the game more fun and interesting, because, you know, you get to do the funny materia shit, but, like, there's so much plot that's technically optional in the original 7. Obviously, the translation, the localization is fighting it, but, like, I understand why if people are confused by that plot, because a lot of it requires, you know, going out of your way to do optional things. And, like, when you're spending so much money and it takes so much time to develop in games, yeah, you can. I got lost as a kid in 7. They like name places, but there's no way to look up where to go, right?
Right.
Like they tell you to go to Junon, but then you're like, what the fuck is a Junon? Is it this tower with this giant bird? No, it's fucking Fort Condor. What's that? Fort Condor's optional for most of the game, anyway.
Junon's hilarious because it's a little hidden too.
Yeah. Actually, finding the minigame is hidden, but like. It's very easy for you to get lost and stumble onto shit. Like sometimes the weapon stuff is like jump scares, like they load in. There's a fucking hidden zone that has a lot of good stuff. The Sunken Galinka, which I'm not even sure if I knew about as a kid because it's just cruising on the bottom of the ocean, you know.
I think I found it just because I.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking around under there, you can definitely see it, but you got to be careful because Emerald Weapon's down there and he'll fuck with you. I don't think I ever experienced this when I was younger or playing the game earlier, but I learned through that stream process. Apparently, sometimes when you leave the Sunken Galinka, Emerald Weapon can just spawn outside and just look at you like, what you doing? What you doing down there, bud?
This is my ocean.
Do you want to have a timed boss battle? No, Emerald Weapon, I do not. I'm going now. Goodbye. But yeah, like, and like I said, when you're churning out games that fast, you're making the entirety of Final Fantasy VII on 3 discs in about a year. Okay, sure. Like, you know, you don't have a lot of time to QA some of this stuff. You're just kind of, you know, shooting from the hip, throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. But games take a long time to develop now and are you know, usually seen as kind of a time and money investment. Usually you want to make sure players see your cool shit, you know, so you can justify working on it. So, like, I don't know. I personally am all for, like, players need funneling. Listen, I've done enough running tabletop gaming for, like, small numbers of players who are not paying me money for this service. And I have experienced, you know, player coordination, cat herding problems. I cannot imagine trying to design a AAA big boy video game and trying to, like, cat herd, you know, potentially millions of players, right?
Right.
that means you got to come up with a solution that's like going to work for most people. And I think that's why the yellow thing comes up. Like, I'm actually pretty sure that, like, obviously most of these games these days have colorblind options, but I'm pretty sure, like, yellow color blindness is rare. At the very least, if you do have an instance where you do not see yellow, you would see it as some other color. So, like, just blending into the brown is unlikely. But, like, you know, you don't got to worry about red-green stuff. Yeah. Like, even in God of War Ragnarok, with all of the runes of climbing and shit, I would get lost sometimes because, you know, you got to also, like, pivot your camera and stuff. I will say, you know, like, there were a couple times where I thought it was kind of funny where Kratos needed you to stand at, like, an exact certain distance to interact, and I'm like, okay. But, you know, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. But, yeah, no, I don't understand a lot of the funneling complaints because I feel like it's needed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind being funneled. I would like to go where the game wants me to go, you know? And also, I like it when the game obviously tells me where I'm supposed to go next so that I can see a fork in the road and go, haha, I'm going to go the other way. There's gonna be free shit the other way.
And a bear trap.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of bear traps the other way, but, you know, like I said, I stepped in one bear trap and I learned my lesson about watching and then next thing you know, there's going to be a flying enemy. Like, the crows are finally going to decide they've had enough of my shit and they're going to attack me from above while I'm looking below.
You can't
and then I'll learn that lesson.
They will give you pesetas and sometimes grenades. Well, I don't know if they give you grenades, but it was always hilarious to get a grenade from a crow in the original game. Made no goddamn sense.
I'll keep that in mind. I haven't fucked with the crows because they haven't fucked with me, but if they got free money.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's cost you a bullet.
Well, as we've discussed, the game is usually pretty generous with crafting. One bullet, depending on how many pesetas, like, that could be worth it. I do have my gold at a showcase for more. That's another thing, by the way, I like. I don't know how deep they're going to go in this, but, like, I was actually quite surprised when I pulled up the menu after punching in my pre-order code, and it was like, yes, unlock your gold at a showcase, more peseta drop. And then the silver does more handgun if you want to switch it back. The little handgun charm just is like you know, have a chance to craft more handgun bullets or find more.
Yeah, no,
you got 3 charm slots. I've already seen the memes.
No, I stuck to silver. Like I said, as an OG, I am just so used to using my fucking handgun for everything. There's even a fucking challenge just to complete the gun with your handgun and knife, except for, like, certain scripted fights. I'm just, like, sick. So, no, like, I enjoy my shotgun and my rifle, and I'm gonna try and tile these ones, but no, your handgun is your trusty sidekick and partner.
No, I mean, it feels like utility.
Actually, I don't know, Marth. I haven't tried it out yet. I haven't found a giant group of crows to use it on.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I think I still got or I found the new stun grenade. So far I'm happy with grenade responses. Seems like they're pretty effective on crowds. You know, obviously you don't want to waste them on a 1v1 other than maybe boy.
Oh god, I gotta see if I can actually beat the fucking chainsaw guy in the first village. You get an encounter with him later, which is, you know, just 1v1 with him, which is a lot easier. Especially if you take advantage because there's a bear trap that you can use on him. Yeah, but, like, no, if you just get him in the bear trap, you can just pull out your rifle and be all like, oh, you picked the wrong time to come down those stairs, buddy.
Bang.
Yeah, no, but, like, yeah, no. Other things, like, I tested out other things, like parrying the chainsaw, like, really eats into your fucking, durability, so you just do not want that man close at all.
No, like, obviously a lot of people are like, oh my god, the chainsaw parry, but I feel like they mostly did that so that they could alleviate what would probably be seen as a little bit of an issue in modern game design where, like, hey, sometimes those big attacks that enemies do, like, they hit you for a lot and they animation lock you, so, like, it's hard to get out the way, right? So, you know, the parrying exists to be like, hey, you can spend a resource and escape some of these moves.
Oh yeah, it's actually kind of...
You don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, no, you do get random ass iframes. I remember I was in a combat and I was fighting right next to a disarmed tripwire mine. I kicked someone in the head and I think that set off the explosion, but because I was in my fucking spin kit, I wasn't hurt at all.
Yeah, I think I said something similar like that, Go. Oh, Axe is reporting he has blown up some crows with a flash grenade.
All right, no,
it works.
That's probably a good use of it. like don't use it on like 1 or 2. You're gonna get like at least 5 or something.
Yeah, some big boys.
Like that's the thing.
I'm sure there'll be big clusters because there's lots of dead animals for them to eat.
Oh yeah, and sometimes they'll just be at a pond and just having a sip. I do not trust it. Like there's a lot of things there's a lot of things from the base game that I'm just curious about. Like back in base RE4, you could actually kill the fucking merchant, and sometimes he would have the fucking parasite explode from his head too. So it's just like I don't want to risk that though, because who knows, I might do something fucking weird this time. I don't think I actually ever killed the merchant in my OG game. I just heard about it. Actually, it could just be fucking fake news. I don't fucking know. I never verified it.
Yeah, the olden times, there's so much information going on there. You can't put your gun at him. Okay.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they do that this time. Like I tried this. After starting my game, I knew the fucking guy was gonna get up and try to come after me. So I tried killing him while he was still on the gourd. The guy's just like, no. I also tried to mercy kill the fucking burning cop. They wouldn't let me shoot him. So I was like, God damn it. So yeah, no. Sometimes they just soft lock you out of shooting people. I cry sometimes.
Well, it is a game. It is a narrative, but they got stuff to do. Stories to tell.
Alrighty.
But yeah, even for just the little I've played, it's a pretty good time. Like it's obviously very tense, and I like a lot of focus, but it still feels good to play, right?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of work in the control, so look forward to plenty more RE4 remake content from us.
So Garuda and
all right. Anything else you want to talk about? Because I am hungry and sweaty. So.
Well, things are happening right now. Like I say, Anime Japan is happening. Do we have any word on the FGO panel when that's gonna happen?
No, I don't know if we know exactly. The Aniplex already did have a panel where they did in fact show a new trailer for Strange Fake. World premiere is going to be in July, so it will be at AX.
Very excited for that.
At our anniversary time, so that's cool.
I don't know if we're doing anything after this X. Mega has already said he wants to go play more RE4, so I am not gonna naysay him.
Yeah, I don't even know if Loft's not in chat right now. Is he? He's not logged on.
No.
I wouldn't mind getting some more Barrow Trauma in.
I wouldn't either. Like I said, it has gone 1.0, and we have not tried it out at all.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, we
did a little on our Stellaris grind, yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm excited. I do like Stellaris. Fur Contact is fun, and I've been playing it on and off.
Yeah, I've been trying to find new grooves with, like, Origins and stuff. We had to call the last one because it seems like I was going to get blasted.
Yeah, no.
Understandably, I'm getting blasted. Like, I didn't realize how far behind the curve on naval power I was, but I just, even though I said this run I was going to pick every upgrade, I was still, like, a little behind in, like, building and boosting some powers, it seemed. Which is weird, because I felt like I had a lot of resources, but I guess I just wasn't expending them as rapidly as some other forces. Hopefully, I feel like I was a little...
Well, did you feel more competent overall, though, is the thing, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was very easily able to measure the power of those ancient mining drones, and I hopefully, as a fellow player, was a little less strident about it. I know that I got pretty shrill when I was getting bamboozled by that one Empire, but that was just pure shock.
Well, no, I mean, I think that's fair. Like getting upset at the NPC of the NPCs, just the random ass, encounter droids, that's one thing. But when an Empire who also can, grow and like get all this stuff and starts rolling in your girl, no, that's something to be fucking upset and concerned about.
Yeah, like, I feel like as I'm getting back into the vibe of playing Stellaris, just the general jankiness of passive events is starting to bother me less as I get back in the flow. But that was just like, okay, these guys have announced their rivalry. I've heard they're going to attack me. All right, well, I better start forwarding up. And then it's like,
immediately
they send like a 9K fleet at me, and I'm like, huh. And then the point where I yelled was like, I was just like, the next fleet gets announced. And I'm like, okay, well, let me check that one. And then I was just like, 13,000? Yeah. Like,
that was very scary.
It was like, okay, that was a jump. And yeah, I don't know if it was our UI mod or just Stellaris in general. War goals are still a little weird. I feel like I didn't have a lot of choice in my war goals, whether it's because I was a machine intellect or not. And then I think
you might
just
not.
like
Sometimes like depending, I will say this, I didn't think about it, but depending on what kind of civilization or whatever, you might have different war goals. Like me, like my war goal can never be the domination of another species because I'm a pacifist. Usually my war goal is just humiliation. That's the only one I can choose.
Yeah.
So
I think my choices were humiliate or assimilate,
Yeah.
and then because I was playing a machine intelligence with like cyborg buddies, you know, like the assimilation tactic. But I don't think I could change it, and I think that theirs was just there because they're a militarist, expansive empire. I think theirs was just force me to surrender. And I like I said, you guys are all well, as all in as you could be because we were actually scattered for once for the most part. You guys were pretty all in on helping me, but at one point I was like, no, guys. Don't worry about me. Like these guys are like, they've got my number. I think this is it for me, and we'll just see how it plays out. I was questioning, like I was a little frustrated, but questioning like, will I be out of the game or not? And it was like, well, you might get vassalized, so you might. We just decided to not let it play out because I was probably fuckled.
yeah.
At the very least, they had already eaten like half my empire, and they were pretty committed. They were like dismantling every single starbase I built, and were sending armies to like land on every colony they could reach. So it was pretty bad.
Well, yeah, we can also I blame Loth for this for like slapping them around so much. Loth really hated those dudes.
I mean, he was mad at them, but I will also say, not to super. I'm not too down on them, but I did do some friendly ribbing of Aaron and Loth when those guys came after me because I was like, because my defenses on that side of my empire were a little lax because I ran into them and I was like, oh hey, it's those guys. Are they cool? And like Aaron and Loth are like, yeah, I don't know. I guess they were they were xenophile, but they were a materialist and what's the violence one, like aggressive. They were like authoritarian. They were like an expansionist empire. So I'm like, I don't think these guys are cool as they're stamping on my robotic bodies. But not a lot of shit. We were all doing a lot of learning. Martha unfortunately just could not get modded Stellaris to work.
Yeah,
because the Paradox launcher is apparently buggy for some people. And Lord knows we jumped through a lot of hoops to make it work, but I like Stellaris, but it's definitely one of those games where, like a lot of 4X games, sometimes you get to not even the mid game, but the early game, and you just go, well, I'm dead. I know you in that run we're talking a lot about fighting your energy credit.
Oh yeah, no.
That was something that early game was a crisis for me as that empire that I got pretty solved, but definitely like I understand that when you're like, why am I suddenly in a hole? Where's all my money going? Oh no. We'll set it up and run again, but yeah, I would like to do some Barotrauma, but like I said, I don't know what Loth is doing today or if he's on.
Well, Loth, if he's following his usual schedule, is probably doing his physical game with his lads, but he'll probably show up at some point, and we can see about maybe doing some Barotrauma there. But that's a perfect chance for you to go get in some more RE4 before. Before.
Like you said, early to start, early to finish. Yep. My bottle of water is empty as well, so I'm getting a little dry-throated. But we got stuff going on. We'll probably have some more hard and fast news. I'm sure there'll be some more announcements. I know that there's a bevy of like video game trailers filtering out and stuff as usual. I don't think there's any like too crazy news to follow there.
No, like I said, they are showing off more 16 trailers, and I continue to get hyped for this game. I think I have moved out of cautiously hype to actually hype.
Yeah, I'm not like. So I am not like crazy like speculative hype about 16. I think I've talked about this last week on the little bit of extra stuff. Like that's how I am for 7 remake stuff. Like Rebirth, I'm like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? 16, I'm just like, no, I'm gonna like this game. Like it might not be perfect, but I'm like, I think I'm gonna like it.
Oh, by the way, one of the latest trailers, Chocobo Riding confirmed.
Ah, yes, we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
That's nice. So also fun fact, Square Enix knows what they're doing. They have posted the VOD for their PAX panel. so I'll be checking that out later. They called it, yes, you can pet the Torgal.
Yeah.
Because that footage was circulating, but it's also, they know what they're doing. They know what's up. That's cool. But like, yeah, when I was thinking about this when the anniversary of 12 came out. Like, there's been a lot of press about how a lot of the 12 team moved to 14, moved to 16, right? And you know, obviously Yoshi P is the producer. He's kind of the headlining all the coordination guy. I think he's also directing 16.
No, I think he's just producer.
Is he just the producer?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
producer. He's producer director for 14. Which,
Okay.
God, that
But
has to be a fucking job.
Yeah. But he's got, he's still got senior cred, so I at least appreciate his direction. I know that, the head writer for 16 is one of 14's major writers who worked on, specifically on Heaven's Word, which I am, in right now and enjoying. Like, I like 14. I liked 12. I, continue to like 12. So I like a lot of the art direction. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to like this game. I think I'm going to like it. They're making it more action focused, but I'm okay with that. I really liked remake system, which it seems like we're leaning on a little, but also obviously the combat director is literally the DMC guy, did DMC 5's combat. And I know some people are like, oh, this is just Devil May Cry 6. I mean, yeah, they got the same guy. What? Some people feel like they're taking that as a negative, but I'm like, why though? I don't play Devil May Cry, but I know Devil May Cry people who are like, fuck yeah, 5, woo.
Like, again, this is one of those things of trying to understand where RPGs are and where they're going. Like,
yeah.
Like, we can probably talk at length about, the difference between, like, our classic turn-based RPGs and action RPGs nowadays, but, like...
Man, I don't know. Like, I like turn-based stuff, but I feel like that's better reserved for, like, small indie titles or, like, retro titles or explicitly tactical stuff, right?
Yeah, no, like I like Fire Emblem turn-based stuff, I think is great, XCOM, tactical, like, isometric view, tactical turn-based stuff, also great. But, like, I don't particularly need, though, turn-based in my, my bog standard fantasy story anymore, though.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's been a while. I should probably pick up, like, one of the more recent runs, because I've never, completed an old school Final Fantasy. Like, I've mostly been on 7. I've played most of them through, like, the GBA ports and stuff, but I should pick up, like, 1 or 3 or something and actually try it, because I'm, like, curious how that would sit with me. I feel like that would be better as, like, a phone game that I play while I do something else, because, like, it's a lot of, like, waiting and sequencing and stuff that, like, it's cool. I like it, but, like, do you want to spend all that work on, like, big, flashy, splashy graphics, and AAA price tags if you're just going to be, like, turn-based trading blows? I know some people miss the days of the retro and stuff, but, like, I feel like making that experience properly AAA is hard and can kind of be to your detriment. And I talked about this before. 7 Remake, you can play completely turn-based. You can set it to wait and make it so that you can't, like, mash basic attacks all the time and stuff. And a lot of people don't play the game that way, and not a crazy amount of people bought that game. Like, that didn't really bring in the extra buys. It sold pretty well, but, like, it wasn't like crazy. Like, say, like, the numbers I always hear is like Luigi's Mansion 3 sold a fuck ton of copies, right?
Yeah.
It did better than 7 Remake on even on multi-platform shit. So, like, I don't know. When you're trying to, when your game is not going to be a crazy universal breakout anyway, just because it is Final Fantasy, and as we discovered with these discussions, there's still some stigma about JRPGs out there. But, like, I don't know. I understand what they're doing with 16. They're trying to like bring it back into focus and do it right, because, like, I know people complained about some of 15's combat style stuff. It wasn't as smooth as it could have been. And, like, I don't know. I mean, like, again, what constitutes turn-based to some people, right? Like, I know some people didn't like how 12 got away from the traditional turn-based, but, like, and also, I will say this. A lot of people say, like, oh, 12 is just like a single-player MMO. I mean, maybe it's like other MMOs, but now actively playing 14, they are really different. Like, the global cooldown system, plus or minus individual cooldowns, is really different than the active dimension battle, right?
Yeah.
Like, 12 is more methodical, but it's much more about like wind up and cast times on ability and like setting up your gambit so that your characters like are doing things that are timed in real time, you know, no separate battle screen. 14 is, I would not say is like, it's cooldown based, but it is not turn based. Like it's all about like timers, interactions, and certain things taking longer timers, because obviously you've got cooldowns, but some things have cast time, some things don't have cast time, some things have separate cooldowns, you know, off cooldowns and shit. Like there's a lot of intriguing back and forth with timing that you can do as Lucky, you know, pushes buttons and bullies Garuda.
Yeah.
Really bullied her. Was that entirely solo on your part?
Yeah. Unsynced is a hell of a drug.
It is. I know. That's, you know, that was... I feel like there was a reason why I did actually... I checked my titles. I changed it. I'm now the Azure Dragoon. Because I think you get that for completing... is it all the base Dragoon quests, or was it the Heavensward one as well? I don't remember what it was.
I believe it's base.
It's still... It's... I like it better as I'm rolling around as a... technically, I think my actual, like... the only title that actually like really means anything is probably Tamer of Steeds. While that's not hard, that does still, we did still have to, you know, set up for that a little to, you know, run through extremes and get all the horses.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll get on the Heavensward train eventually, and once we've got all the birds, I'll probably switch to that one for a while, because that'll also be probably like actually a little bit of a show off. I don't mind I don't go super big on EPing, but if I do get some cool shit, I do like to show it off, you know.
Oh yeah, like my the one that I'm constantly wearing at Magic's Horizon is the one that you get for having all magic related classes at level 90.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, so
yeah, solid.
That's
and lets people know what you're about.
Yeah. I like being a
but
summoner.
Yeah, we could probably talk a lot about our
like honestly,
stuff.
I probably would have all classes at level 90 if I didn't care. But when I originally played it, I didn't actually care about them. I just love being a summoner that much. I was just like, no, fuck you, I'm a summoner now. Like, I think I played, like, nothing but a summoner for, like, a year. And then I decided, okay, maybe I should start leveling up other things.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that I tried other ones, but also, I don't know. I mean, it was recommended to me for this purpose, but Dragoon really clicked for me. Mm-hmm. Like, that one, I've had to rebuild my hotbars a couple of times because they just keep giving me new shit for a while.
Yeah.
I now basically have all my like buffs and support stuff on hotbar 2. Because those do technically tend to be a little more situational, you know. It's not all the time that I need to actually bust out, you know, my fainting and second winding and bloodletting and whatever. Whereas actually having all my 4-button rotations be easily accessible is usually pretty good, but like it flows really well. And that gave me the appreciation for, like, that's why I think I like Red Mage so much, because it really is, like, a different experience to being a Dragoon. And I'm like, okay, I can follow this. This is neat. I got this. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get to do, like, ranged shit. Now I can actually, like, you know, shoot stuff at guys when the tank's doing double pulls and runs by everybody, as opposed to, like, Dragoon, which is, like, I can only throw my sticker, like, come back. You know, because I'm not gonna waste a gap closer on a rando mob. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with RPGs and a lot of discussions to be had there. I will plug, because people seem to be liking it, our actual play, latest episode out, the beach episode. That's what I called it. Though I did also include Lucky's upload title as the AKA.
I like doing
Surf, Sun, and Sand Golem. Which actually, like, we don't get a lot of feedback on our IPs. I wish we got more. They're cool. But somebody did actually leave a comment about how they really liked the episode as well. So it was not only a blast to play, but also apparently was good to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. We'll be back for more fun stuff next time.
I love Stovey.
Oh, I figured you would. We talked about that stuff, and I knew for a while, since I think I randomly named Petra the clan Stover. I was like, wait, I can make that a thing, though. Stoves. I thought about making it more, like, mechanically feisty, but I think just being simplistic, like, yeah. He's a tool. He gives you upgrades. You can use him as a ranged weapon. He can also do simple tasks if you need him to, but generally he's not like a separate combat track.
Nah, I'm fine with it. Although I immediately thought of Steve, so I might just in the middle of combat be like, Stovey, do something. And then it might just you know, look at me quizzically, or it might breathe fire on someone. I don't fucking know. It's gonna be great. I'm excited for it. All right, so that's that. Oh,
But yeah, like we said, we can probably wrap it down while we're waiting on announcements and stuff.
yeah.
We'll see if there's any crazy video game stuff. Like, there's always trailers and there's always stuff back and forth. And I'm following along, but and I'll probably catch up on that panel. But like I said, I am thirsty and hungry, and do want to get some more RE in before the weekend. But like when Loft shows back up, we can see about Baratron. And I can't forget my login for my CC grind. The power of having a mount that, like, personally to me is intriguing. I think I've explained that before, but the reason why I'm like, oh shit, the sphere, is because that's a joke in one of Rubik Raptor's like 2 Final Fantasy 14 videos. Is they run into the ADS enemy in the coils of Bahamut, and it clowns on them because they did. Not only did they do coil sync, they did it at minimum item level. They had a time. But like he turned that into jokes, and that design has always stuck with me. And then just the fact that, like, oh yeah, it's a mount. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. That's fun. Little ball. There's lots of cool mounts in 14 though.
Son of a bitch.
But all right. Okay, I'm out of water. Thirsty. I'm melty. I'm ready to call it a day on the show. Lucky's been doing his stuff. We hope you've enjoyed the time. Check out our other stuff. We had a pretty beefy for us lately. And probably until either a really story-heavy time event or Lost Belt chapters start dropping, probably as beefy as we're gonna get these days with FGO. Let's Talk came out. Check out the AP. Check out streams and stuff. Oh yeah. Shocking to nobody, considering how much I do kvetch about it and how apparently that drives people to want to do it. Bonus stream probably next Thursday. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. That's what you guys picked. You have chosen so wonderfully with the options I have returned to you. But we'll see what I'm yelling about. Hopefully we'll have some new stuff come out. Or I'll just do a ranked ladder. A couple of other community members have come forward, so I might play some games with community a little bit too. We'll see. I think it's all the new stuff, though, I usually like to get out, so I can outro. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can tell, but like I said, I'm really hot in here right now. Well, I'm out of water, I'm warm, I'm sweaty. It's bad. So we should wrap up before I die.
It's getting gravelly.
Yeah, it's because I'm out of water. I'm playing it up a little bit, but also I'm like, man, I'm starting to feel parched. Ugh. Okay, all right. I'll scratch a few things off my notes for now. But okay, chat. I'm gonna say we should, get on the stuff.
Let's get out of here.
All right, outro. Hey, if you're watching this video, give it a like. If you're new here. I mean, I use a reusable bottle, so I cut down on waste, so there's only so much I can do. I do kind of want to buy 2, so I got a rotation a lot. There's Law. Well, we can ask him about stuff. Then I still got to eat food. But be sure to give the video a like if you liked it. Leave any comments in the comment section. Hit up our Discord, link in the video description. If you're new here, please sub. Love to actually clear 3188 subs. I feel like we keep bouncing back and forth there forever. Make sure to ring the bell. And consider joining channel memberships for badges and emotes. And support us on Patreon for audio. That's all I got. Have a lovely day, everybody. I need to go, drink a whole gallon of water. Bye.
Bye, everybody.